So Burnley are playing from right to left as we look. They're attacking the Stretford end, away towards our left-hand side. We'll also keep you in touch with the goals as they go in, as already there's an early flick on. And this is an opportunity here for Burnley, and the shot came in from Fofana, and it was straight at Onana. The little flick on, and he was in. And for a United side that have been conceding goals at will recently, to have an opportunity inside, 20 seconds, that will offer a lot of encouragement for Vincent Kompany.
And absolutely nothing complicated about it. Lump ball up the middle, flick on. I mean, he's got Casemiro on him, but there's no tackle made. Here
is Anthony. Forward ball, Bruno Fernandes, right side of the penalty area. Back to Wan-Bissaka, and then cleared by Cullen. Only as far as Casemiro, once again partnering Maguire at the heart of that Manchester United defence. But a Manchester United side that just have been conceding goals. Yeah, they're unbeaten in 4, but they've been involved in 20 goals in those 4 games during that period.
It's an extraordinary... I mean, Manchester United famously, for their entire history, are an attack-minded side. Remember, that's what these fans want. However, you can be slightly too open, and they've been far too open. Just looking close at the way Manchester United have lined up just now. I mean, right at the start, Eriksen's going very, very deep when United are on the ball, almost in the back 4. When you consider Casemiro isn't the quickest either, I think you can see a possible weakness there.
Fernandes with a free kick. It's hoisted to the left corner of the penalty area. Garnacho is the player who brings it under control, drills it in low. Cleared by O'Shea. Only partially cleared. Fernandes lifts the ball back in, and then arriving on the half volley, couldn't keep it down. 6 yards out was Garnacho, over the top and out for a goal kick. 0-0, 2 minutes played.
It's a fantastic chance, and Fernandes, I mean, he has been wonderful this season. He's just been so creative. Goal scoring's been great as well. Everyone expected him to shoot. Dinked it to the back post there. I think Garnacho expected Højlund to get ahead in the ball there, and then by the time that Højlund missed it, well, in fact, I now know that's the case, because Garnacho turned around and looked at him as if to say, why didn't you head it? But that's another great opportunity. Wow, open game. 2 chances in a few minutes.
We brought you all the drama on the concluding day in League One, where Derby County promoted. And it will be Bolton against Barnsley, Peterborough, Oxford in the playoffs, and Cheltenham relegated along with Fleetwood, Port Vale and Carlisle United. There is the chance that Huddersfield and Birmingham, one of those, could be relegated from the Championship today. They do indeed meet in West Yorkshire. And in League 2, on the final day of the regulation season, we will find out who will secure the playoff positions. So we'll keep you in touch. Accrington 0, Tranmere 1 is the latest score in League 2. It's the usual goal service, BBC Radio 5 Live and BBC Sounds. And we're also going to keep you in touch with the racing at Sandown. It's the celebration chase, John Hunt.
Just racing to the third last fence in. John Bond, the Aintree winner, has just made a mistake, opening the door slightly to both Edwardstone and favourite El Fabiolo, although El Fabiolo has not picked up immediately. He's back in 3rd place. However, Nuba Negra, trained by Dan Skelton, is well adrift in 6th. So if El Fabiolo keeps going in 3rd, this could just about secure the Jockeys' Championship. But he's beaten today, El Fabiolo. John Bond against Edwardstone. They come down towards the last fence now. John Bond at it, over safely, 2 to 3 lengths clear of Edwardstone. El Fabiolo trying to rally with Boot Hill next, but John Bond driven right out. He had to miss Cheltenham. He was great at Aintree, and he's excellent today as well. Nicky Henderson's having a great final day of the season, and it's a tight photo for 2nd place between El Fabiolo, who rallied, and Edwardstone. Boot Hill back in 4th place, and with Nuba Negra well beaten off there, with El Fabiolo possibly 2nd in this celebration chase behind John Bond. Ian, that could well be the championship decider for Willie Mullins.
Thank you, John. Back with you in about half an hour's time. Burnley are attacking far side with Odegaard. There is Eriksen on the edge of the penalty area, easily nudged off the ball by Berger. Fofana plays it forward. Nice sharp turn by Odegaard. Couldn't get the shot away. Manchester United stopped him inside the penalty area. But again, encouragement for Burnley, 0-0.
Do you know what? This, I promise you, is going to be a fantastic open game with lots of chances. The way Burnley are playing just now, they are playing good, very old-fashioned 4-2-4. And it's not con. The 2 wingers are right up on the full-backs as well, and the 2 centre-forwards are up asking questions. So 4-2-4, open game. good players like a lot of space. There's going to be a lot of space in that midfield.
That's the familiar voice of Pat Nevin as we welcome listeners to the BBC World Service wherever you are in the world. It's a pleasure to have your company. Here we are at Old Trafford. Manchester United 0, Burnley 0. Accrington 1, Tranmere 1 is the latest score in League 2. So Accrington have equalised. And no other goals in the other games in the Premier League at Fulham, Newcastle, Wolves. Are also underway at 3 o'clock. Sheffield United could be relegated today, and in fact there's now been a goal. Chris Coles.
Sheffield United are not done yet. They lead at St James's Park against Newcastle United. Ball in on the left hand side of the penalty area, and it looks like Arnel Ahmedhodzic round the back got the final touch. Newcastle 0, Sheffield United 1.
It's Chris Wilder's 250th game as the Sheffield United manager this afternoon over his 2 spells, although it could just be a stay of execution, because even with a win today, a Forest win tomorrow would see them down, as the referee John Brooks has blown his whistle, and it's going to be a Manchester United throw on that left-hand side. That game, incidentally, at the City Ground, 4:30 tomorrow, will be live as part of 5 Live's Premier League Sunday from midday. Manchester United now with Bruno Fernandes. Back to Casemiro, comes forward and he shoots from distance, and it whistles wide. Took a deflection on its way through. Corner kick to Manchester United. Craven Cottage, John Southall.
Fulham 0, Palace 0. Great chance for Palace. Michael Olise threw on goal. You'd put your mortgage on him scoring it. Put it wide of the right hand post. Fulham 0, Palace 0.
That must have been, what, 35 yards out?
Yeah, he caught it really, really well. I don't think the goalkeeper was ever in danger, particularly worried about it. Little deflection, so little I can't see it, but it's a corner kick.
Which Fernandes looks to take on that far side, the left. 0-0, 5 Live, the World Service and BBC Sounds. It's rolled out, then played back to Fernandes, and now to Anthony. First time shot, keeper saw that, parried it away at around head height, and then gathered in the rebound. And then he's hoisted the ball out towards Fofana as they try and strike on the break. Anthony caught that sweetly.
Do you know what? Every time I see a free kick like that, a corner kick like that, that is pretty novel. I mean, it was really well worked. It was about 5 passes before the shot was actually taken. I always look down to the bench and also where the technical people are, because they're all writing it down already. That was a really good training ground move.
Swindon 1, Morecambe 0, and Salford 1, Harrogate 0 are latest scores in League 2. Burnley looking to play out from the back. O'Shea will roll it forward. Foster, the South African international, tried to lay it out towards Odebear. They've lost the ball. The referee John Brooks has played the advantage, and now Fernandes clips it forward. Anthony's made the run. Anthony goalwards, but has pushed it well wide as it rolls out for a goal kick, and will go to Molineux and Pat Murphy.
Promising start for Luton, this 0-0. Morris a shot blocked, and then Barkley 25 yards, hit it beautifully, beaten away by Sarr, the keeper though. Wolves 0, Luton 0.
Luton and Sheffield United. Sheffield United, remember, are leading at Newcastle, are the 2 teams who are yet to keep a clean sheet away from home in the Premier League this season. Pat.
Yeah, just looking at this game, I promise you there are going to be opportunities. That's 3 pretty clear open opportunities so far in the game. 2 for Manchester United, 1 for Burnley. But honestly, I'm sitting here watching this game with a big cheesy grin on my face. The reason being, I can't remember the last time I watched 4-2-4 playing 4-2-4. It's not complicated. Everybody knows exactly who they're going to play against. You get mano-a-mano battle out there all the way through the game. It's so open. It's a game I'd love to play in, because you know what you've got to do. And it's going to be open.
So you're basically saying 9 minutes in, this will not be a goalless draw?
Well, I held off by saying there will be lots and lots of chances, because there aren't that many absolute out-and-out goal scorers out there, so there will be chances. Whether there'll be goals, I expect them to be.
St Johnstone 0, Hibs 1 is the latest score in the Scottish Premiership. Burnley in possession, far side the left. A little turn away on that far side by Assignon. Berger sweeps it inside to Cullen, Irish international. Now this is Esteve. Over the halfway line he trots. Left of the centre circle. Triangular passing patterns from Burnley in their yellow shirts, playing from right to left. We're approaching 10 minutes and it's still 0-0. Muric is out of his penalty area. His floated ball forward is headed away by Dalot, and then played forward by Eriksson. Garnacho quickly onto that far side, the left corner of the area. Garnacho now enters the box, pulls it back. Eriksson inside the area, shoots just wide. They're appealing for a corner. It's not given. It'll be a goal kick. It remains 0-0. Updates in the Rugby Union, Harlequins Northampton, Alfie Reynolds.
Harlequins 5, Northampton 0. What a start for Quins. Opening try of the game scored by Luke Northmore, who was on the end of a Marcus Smith crossfield kick. Cracking score, Harlequins 5, Northampton 0.
Having kept a clean sheet in 2024, Burnley. Their last clean sheet was against Fulham just before Christmas, and already Manchester United have had 2 or 3 openings.
Yeah, that was the third one with there. Garnacho gets the ball on the left-hand side, and he never has to worry about players doubling up on him because the systems the team are playing. So he just looks at Arsenal and knows, well, if I beat him, I'm in, and we're going to get a chance. And that was a good half a chance once again, this time for Eriksson, who's a player who will love playing in this sort of game as well, because, as I say, good players like space, and he is a lovely player, but it will be tiring for him.
So Manchester United 0, Burnley 0. They've been playing for 11 minutes. Free kick to Burnley. Estev rolls it back to Muric, the Kosovan international, who has started the last 7 games now. You think back to his errors against Everton at Goodison, and then the week later at home to Brighton. And Burnley might have been a slightly better situation had it not been for that.
Yeah, much better. And it's been ifs and buts all the way through the season for them, and particularly this last period. Playing against Chelsea with 10 men. Yeah. Managed to get a point out of that one, and then that late equaliser that they lost against West Ham United to make it 2-2. There's been so many so close ifs and buts for them.
They have dropped 24 points from losing positions this season, but they're in the sort of like scenario now where they can't afford to drop many more. There isn't much wriggle room down at the bottom. 0-0 in the early stages. Down at the bottom of the Championship, what a vital game taking place. Huddersfield, Birmingham, Shojo Saka.
Huddersfield 0, Birmingham 0. Keshi Anderson's gone close for Birmingham so far, but he was wide. Obvious tension from both sides, given one of them could go down today. A draw will keep Birmingham safe for another week. Could relegate Huddersfield depending on other results. Early stages, Huddersfield 0, Birmingham 0.
Yeah, Huddersfield could go down with a draw, providing Plymouth avoid defeat and Sheffield Wednesday win. They're the permutations with a draw for Huddersfield that would see them relegated today. Muric, all in blue, bright orange boots, midway through the Burnley half, out to Estev.
Muric, he's not going to stop, is he? He was playing left centre back there when he got the ball, and he's the goalkeeper.
Cullen looked for a ball over the top. Odobert had made that run.
It's incredible. You see, the goalkeeper's been asked to do this, play almost as outfield players, and it looks great when it works like that. But as you say, in the 2 recent occasions with Muric, when it doesn't work, it looks very ugly indeed.
Well, then they played the ball out, did Manchester United, to Eriksson, and then there was the trigger point, and Sheffield United went to press, but they've beaten that press. Fernandes forward now to Dalot, left-hand side. Held up by Foster, plays it back to Fernandes, crosses the ball to Anthony, deliberately crouches, it rolls off his back. That was a deliberate play. Wan-Bissaka, and then the ball aimed towards Mainu is cleared away by the Burnley defence. Livingston are leading Ross County by a goal to 0 in the Scottish Premiership. If they were relegated today with a defeat, a draw, they'd be on the brink, but they're still fighting, plugging away and leading against Ross County. They are still they were 12 points adrift of Ross County immediately above them. We'll bring you news of that goal from Connie when we can, but Livingston 1, Ross County 0. Maino from the throw on this right-hand side to Eriksson. Back with the England international. Fernandes able to turn, 30 yards out from goal. Dalot forced back by Odobert. Maguire on the centre circle on the halfway line, and then Casemiro shepherds the ball back to Onana.
Yeah, slightly cancelled each other out for the last couple of minutes, and that can happen if you're playing exactly the same system against each other. But I always think in these systems, if you're a wide player, a winger particularly, you know what you've got to do. You've only got one man to beat. You want to get that ball in the final third, and with Manchester United having both Anthony and Garnacho on the field just now, they want service so they can find out if they can beat their fullbacks. They've had a couple of bits of service, looks okay. And by the way, that little pass with his back by Anthony a moment ago, I'm willing to put some money on with you. That will do a match of the day tonight.
Here is Onana, rolls it forward to Hoyland drops deep, lays it off to Mainu, now out to Wan-Bissaka on this near side, the right, flicks it back to Casemiro, put him under pressure. Let's get news of that goal from Livingston with Connie.
Yeah, Livingston 1, Ross County 0. They've given themselves a lifeline. Bruce Anderson, their top goal scorer, lobbed Ross Laidlaw, easy for me to say, amid some calamitous defending. He held his nerve though and found the back of the net. Remember, a defeat would send them down. So far so good. Livingston 1, Ross County 0.
Thank you, Connie. There was a chance that Walsall could have gate crashed their way into the League Two playoffs today. They needed to win and then hope that 3 results went in their favour, but it's Wimbledon 1, Walsall 0, and they are behind. There's a corner kick to Manchester United over on that far side, the left. Still 0-0, 15 minutes played, 5 live in the World Service and BBC Sounds. Fernandes with the in-swinger, headed away well at Berger at the near post, brought under control very well with the top of his right boot. A cushioned touch with Garnacho. Now it's with Anthony. He's going to cut inside. Of course he will, and he shoots, and Muric with a save. Goal at MK Dons, Sheridan Robbins.
MK Dons 1, Sutton 0. Jack Payne firing home from close range. A last-ditch challenge came in, but as it stands, Sutton going down. MK Dons 1, Sutton 0.
Yeah, they needed to win, did Sutton United, 23rd in the table, and then at least hope for a 4-goal swing with Colchester at home to Crewe. Colchester just need a point. Crewe, incidentally, need a point to confirm their place in the playoffs in League Two, and it is 0-0. No other goals elsewhere to tell you. Goalless here at Old Trafford. Hoyland was being held, and he gets a free kick just inside the Burnley half. Pat.
Do you know, looking at that midfielder, if you're a Manchester United fan, you want the quality players to get on the ball and play that really brilliant pass. The ones that the likes of Eriksen have played in the past just don't seem to be able to do it just now. Just that little bit extra half yard that maybe one's hard isn't showing out just now.
Swindon 1, Morecambe 1 is the latest score in League Two. I mentioned Colchester and Crewe. Rich Wolfenden.
Yeah, it's 0-0 with 16 minutes played, but it's the home side who are doing the better so far. We've just had a good opportunity on the edge of the penalty area, saved by Max Stryer. But this point will keep them in League Two, 0-0.
Goal at Barrow, Gavin Wallace.
There has indeed, and it's George Morris for Mansfield. This is not good news for Barrow at the moment. As it stands, they would go out of the playoff places. George Morris just inside the box, took it down on the turn and put it well beyond the goalkeeper. 15 gone, Barrow 0, Mansfield 1.
Barrow occupy the last playoff position. They essentially need to better both the Crawley result and the Bradford City result. Crawley are in 8th, they're drawing at home to Grimsby. Bradford are at home to Newport, but Mansfield already promoted, of course, 1-0 up there at Barrow. No other goals to tell you about. As now this is with Estev. On this near side, the left back is Vitinho for Burnley. Infield now to Audebert. Berger is also available, and here he is further square, central position, looks for a ball through to try and pick out Assignon, and it peters out right of way for a goal kick. 0-0, Pat Nevin.
If you're making a mistake, if you're Burnley just now, they started really lively, they kept the ball, they chased a bit, but if you're playing 4-4-2, that's about your wingers. You need to get them on the ball and get it into the two strikers. They've had ample opportunities to play it to those wingers wide, and they're not staying there. They're running inside. They're killing all the space that they've tried to develop in the first place. It's a really strange way to play that system at the moment, and I'm not sure Vincent Kompany's delighted with the players not listening to what he wants them to do.
At the minute, Barrow are clinging on to that position on goal difference in 7th as Garnacho enters the penalty area, but they are level on points now with Crawley as it stands on 68 points. Fernandes with a shot, hits the post, hit it left-footed and hit the left-hand post, and Burnley survive. It must have been, 8 yards out. There's a potential break on here. Brun Larsen can't get there. Casemiro slides into the challenge, helped on by Anthony, who's heavily involved, cleared away, hooked clear by Cullen, picked up by Mainu. Nice little flick inside to Wan-Bissaka, stroked inside now by Anthony. Manchester United, 19 minutes played, coming forward, and it goes out of play for a Manchester United throw off the legs of Berger.
That brought a little bit of electricity into not only the stadium but the game itself. It's lifted the pace. Great shot, hit the post, no chance that the keeper was going to get that. However, on the break there was just this one moment where I think it was Fofana had got himself 1-on-1 and had half a pitch to run into against Casemiro. The ball wasn't played. Had he played it, Fofana would have won and would have been 1-on-1 with the goalkeeper. That's how tight that was.
Manchester United, of course, are trying to hold off the attentions of Newcastle United for European football. Newcastle United, who, as the ball is played forward to Fernandes, edge of the area, back heels the ball, Mainu is onto it. Short little ball inside to Eriksson, 30 yards out from goal, forward to Fernandes, waits, assesses his options, out towards Anthony, right hand side, and Wan-Bissaka won't get there, and the ball is put out of play for a throw. Newcastle, though, are trailing. Chris Coles.
By 1-0, really should be 2-0 Sheffield United. Cameron Archer's wasted a glorious chance, skipping into the penalty area. He was about to tap it in until a brilliant last-ditch challenge to keep it still at Newcastle 0, Sheffield United 1.
Here is Wan-Bissaka from the throw. Fernandes level with the penalty area right-hand side. Back now with Casemiro, who's midway through the Burnley half. And Casemiro, no immediate pressure, and then Fofana will run towards him. Mainu links up with Anthony, outside of the right boot, spreads a good ball out towards Garnacho, left-hand side of the area. Garnacho's shot is blocked, falls to Mainu, who shoots, and it's off target with his right-footed effort. Goal kick, 0-0.
And it's every time they go down the line now, isn't it? He's got 1-1. You love that as a winger, and it's good to see Garnacho. He can go outside and go inside as well. Not so much the case with Anthony, but every time he's got the ball, he's looked dangerous. He's got crosses in, and it's led to chances and half chances for Manchester United. So right at this moment, the most likely area for a goal to come from is from that left-hand side from United.
The goal kick is taken short. Cullen receives the ball from Estep, goes back towards the tall, lean central defender. Muric then plays the ball out from the back to O'Shea. And he comes over the halfway line now for Burnley, and then he retreats, and then back to Muric, who the keeper advances midway through the Manchester United half. Cullen makes himself available. Two central defenders are split, the full-backs are pushed on. Odegaard now drops to the halfway line for Burnley.
We make the point the two full-backs are pushed on. You've just killed the space the wingers that a 4-4-2 want to use. It's kind of weird. You know what you're trying to do, and then you kill the raison d'etre for doing it. I'm not fully understanding why they're playing a certain system and then misusing the best parts of that system, Burnley. And I'm sure Vincent Kompany will look at it and adapt it at half-time. But I'm watching Manchester United playing the same system, but doing it right.
Former Manchester City captain, of course, returning to Old Trafford, where, when as a player for City, he won 5 of his 11 games. Won 5, drew 1. And lost 5. Fofana with a chest off to Cullen. Clips it high and forward on the half volley. Brun Larsen brings it under control. Goes away from him initially, but keeps the ball in play. Up against Wan-Bissaka on this near side, the Manchester United right back. Infield Brun Larsen. And now it is with Fofana, able to turn. Forward ball. Foster had made the run. Clearance from Wan-Bissaka. Charged down by Cullen. Did hit his hand. Referee John Brooks on hand to give that free kick. Back to the bank to the River Thames. John Southall.
Fulham 0, Crystal Palace 0. All Palace at the moment. Mateta shinned one over the bar on the volley, and Richards with a header 7 yards out, also over the bar. Palace could be 3 up here. Fulham 0, Palace 0.
They're in a good reign of rich reign of form, Crystal Palace. They've won their last 3. Swindon 1, Morecambe 2 is the latest score in League 2. You're up to date with the goals as they go in on BBC Radio 5 Live. We've been playing for 23 minutes. So Nana all in green, away towards our left. Hits a flat ball forward, right-footed, over the head of Hoyland and straight through to his opposite number, Muric.
I think both sets of centre-forwards will be a bit disappointed. I mean, Hoyland, everything's just been smashed up over the top of his head. Nothing coming to him. Fofana up the other side, he'd be desperate to get on the ball 1-on-1 with Casemiro, but it's not happened yet. He's not got very much good ball in there.
That wasn't the best of clearances by Muric. Forward now to Fernandes, enters the penalty area. Estep did very well to get across and to get a block in, because otherwise Manchester United had a real opening. Maguire surges forward, and now all of a sudden he's left a hole at the back now for Burnley maybe to exploit. Fofana over the halfway line. He looks for Foster. Dallo, though, covers as the left back, and Eriksson will get the ball forward towards Fernandes.
Just looking at Maguire there, he almost scored himself, but what happened is he went forward, left a huge gap at the back. Burnley need to make good use of that.
Garnacho now attacking to Fernandes, left corner of the area, infield to Mainu. Fernandes now to Casemiro. He's already had one effort from long range, tries to thread it forward. Blocked though by the Burnley defence. Now remember, Barrow are losing at home to Mansfield, and now a goal at Crawley. Chris Temple.
And Crawley are winning 1-0 here against Grimsby, which will put them above Barrow and into the top 7 as it stands at the moment. Daniele Orsi has got the goal, his 19th of the season. Grimsby have been the better side, but Crawley lead 1-0 heading into the top 7.
Yep, they move into a playoff position. Manchester United had an appeal for a penalty while we're away. Meanwhile, Brun Larsen attacks. Coutinho on the overlap, the left back. Wan-Bissaka slides in, and that goes behind for a corner. There's been a goal at Hillsborough in the Championship. Adam Pope.
And a packed Hillsborough is celebrating. Anthony Musaba has Sheffield Wednesday ahead by a goal to against West Brom. Huge moment as he turned in a corner at the second attempt from a tight angle. That may be enough to keep them in the division. We'll see. Sheffield Wednesday 1, West Brom 0.
West Brom are looking to try and consolidate their place in the playoffs. They are 5th. Sheffield Wednesday, though, who are just on the fringes of the relegation zone. Have you had a chance to look at that penalty shout again?
No chance that's a penalty kick. Garnacho's done that thing that I dislike most of all. It's become catching in this game just now. Anthony Gordon does it a bit. He threw his leg out looking for the contact, got some. Referee wasn't scammed this time. Well done, ref.
Well, the VAR would have had a look at it. Now the corner can be taken for Burnley. It's a very deep one. Out to Assignon. Hooks the ball back towards goal. Cleared by Casemiro. We've just heard news of a goal at Hillsborough as Assignon picks it up for Burnley. We're going to be going back to the Championship in a moment because there's another goal that could affect the playoff positions as Fofana makes that run left-hand side of the penalty area. Does well to get it out towards Odegaard with a shot, and it's tipped over by Onana. Straight to Carrow Road. Mark Webber.
Whereas Norwich City 0, Swansea City 1. Jamie Patterson a run inside the area and a shoot into the roof. The playoff contenders are slipping behind you. Norwich 0, Swansea 1.
And that will certainly offer encouragement for Hull City when they take on third-placed Ipswich tonight at 8 o'clock, because Hull are just the 3 points behind Norwich City, who occupy that final playoff position in the Championship. Burnley here with Onana, good save away from Odegaard. Corner kick far side, the right, still 0-0. Outswinging corner. Punched away by Onana, and that could have gone anywhere. It's gone out for a throw.
Very strange one, that. I mean, again, I'm not sure why he didn't go and catch that. Didn't go and catch that. Burnley still in the attack. However, they've got a throw in here. Looking a little bit better last few minutes, Burnley.
Sheffield United were leading. Another goal on Tyneside. Chris Coles.
They're not leading anymore. Newcastle equaliser. Another clinical Alexander Isak finish. Well found by Jacob Murphy. Isak rattled it into the corner. Newcastle 1, Sheffield United 1.
And still they haven't kept a clean sheet on their travels in the Premier League all season. Fulham 0, Palace 0, Newcastle 1, Sheffield United 1, Wolves 0, Luton Town 0, and goalless here at Old Trafford as we slowly approach the half hour.
Yeah, we're approaching the half hour, and you can see now why I didn't jump in and say there'll definitely be goals. There have been plenty of chances, but no one looks as if they're capable of finishing it now. But no, I'm not giving up yet.
Odegaard, Assignon, Odegaard, and then it comes to Foster, and he hit it first time, leaning back, couldn't keep it down, right-footed, goal kick.
As if to prove the point. That's a great chance there. That's about 16 yards out, and your description is perfect of it. He is leaning back. You're running onto that to midfield. You just make sure you keep it on target, and that's the goalkeeper a problem. No, that should have been. That's more like Twickenham than Old Trafford there. Terrible finish.
Penalty at Wimbledon. Johnny Cantor.
Yeah, well, it's been delayed, unfortunately, Deno, because yellow flags are being thrown onto the pitch by the Dons fans. We'll come back to you.
OK, Wimbledon were leading Walsall by a goal to 0. Not that it would make any difference, because of Crawley leading Grimsby, the result's not going to go in Walsall's favour. Harrogate have equalised at Salford in League 2. Salford 1, Harrogate 1 is the latest score in League 2. And when you said about, and I knew exactly what I was trying to do, I was trying to tease you into the curse of the commentator, or curse of the co-commentator, by saying, you know, are you guaranteeing us goals? But to be fair, there must have been at least 6 or 7 opportunities, and there could be another one here for Brun Larsen. And he's got Coutinho steaming up on the overlap, and then Brun Larsen runs straight into Casemiro. No foul, says John Brooks.
And that again sums up the problem. There are opportunities, but that final bit of quality in the final third, it's been lacking here. Now, considering Manchester United lose a lot of goals and score a lot of goals, you would expect them to be able to do something about it, but it just needs, I mean, it's a good enough game and there are chances. It just needs one goal in, and actually could light the touch paper to lots of goals in the Avalanche falling.
Here is Muric. Estev, short of the halfway line, almost comes to a standstill and then touches the ball away from Fernandes and then runs away from the Manchester United captain and then caught in possession. Fernandes tried to play it early through towards Hoyland. Second chance after the first effort was blocked. O'Shea is covering. To Molyneux, Pat Murphy.
It's still 0-0 here. Defence is on top. Very little happening. The highlight of this half, the use by Pat Nevin of the phrase raison d'etre. Don't hear that enough in football commentaries, Pat. Félicitations, mon brave.
Merci.
Assignon keeping up the French connection. Right hand side, the centre circle. Little skip over the ball from referee John Brooks. Cullen helps it on its way to Brun Larsen. Left corner of the area, does a little step over. Forward to Vitinho. Coming across was Casemiro. And there is now a block. It's gone behind for a corner. Goal at Wimbledon, Johnny Cantor.
Yes, Isaac Hutchinson has dispatched the penalty after a long delay to give Walsall some hope of getting back into the playoff places. 1-1 here at Plough Lane.
Wimbledon 1, Walsall 1 then is the latest score there, but remember Crawley currently occupy that playoff position, leading Grimsby by a 1-0, with Barrow trailing at home to Mansfield by a 0-0. Bradford City are also in the equation but drawing 0-0 at home to Newport. They like Walsall, needed results to go in their favour and had to win at Valley Parade. Corner kick for Burnley, in it goes, headed out by Eriksson, near side of the 6-yard box, hooked further clear by Bruno Fernandes, actually goes back into the penalty area, and then as it drops towards O'Shea on the half volley, a little swivel there, left-footed, couldn't keep it down. Wrexham 0, Stockport County 1 is a goal in League 2. Pat Nevin.
The finishing has been, let's think of a really complex, nice word, rubbish. It's not been good at all, has it? Time and time again, players are getting the ball in areas where, look, you're just saying get it on target, and they're skying them 20 yards over the bar. It's really surprising at this level of football that you can get that amount of chances and so few saves by the goalkeepers.
Back with Onana for Manchester United. 32 minutes played here on BBC Radio 5 Live. We've got commentary to come after Sports Report of Everton against Brentford, but what an excellent week it's been for Sean Dyche and his team. Back-to-back wins, and they face a Brentford side who are unbeaten in 5. Both have certainly pulled away with those results from the perils of the relegation zone. And with Sheffield United, who could be relegated today, Burnley and Luton are the other two teams who occupy the relegation zone, and Nottingham Forest looking over their shoulder. They take on Manchester City tomorrow. It looks like it's between those four, as Fofana gets away from Casemiro, opens up for Fofana. Instead he tried to pass the ball to Foster, and it was cut out by Maguire.
He's got to take him on. He's got to take him on. He's got to draw the defender. But that's the first time that Fofana's had a chance to run at anyone. He left Casemiro absolutely in his slipstream there. So he knows he can do it. He knows he can get in there. It's just getting the ball in the last third to Fofana. He looks a danger man for Burnley.
Well, they've just been awarded a free kick. Before it's taken, we can nip to Chris Coles at St James's,
where Sheffield United have just hit the post. Mason Holgate header hit angle of post and bar, and then Andre Brooks volleyed the very presentable rebound inches wide. Newcastle 1, Sheffield United 1.
Bristol City are leading Rotherham by a 0-0, and at Priestfield it's Gillingham 0, Doncaster Rovers 1. And we'll get news of that goal in a moment, but the ball is now being placed down for this free kick. Doncaster, who are looking for an 11th successive win, which would actually set a new club record. They are on one hell of a run, and they only needed a point to be assured of a playoff position. But we'll get news of that goal in a moment. But at Priestfield it's Gillingham 0, Doncaster Rovers 1. Remember, Crawley are leading and Barrow are losing. Free kick though to Burnley. They're attacking the Stretford end. We've been playing now for 34 minutes. Brun Larsen to take it. About 6 yards up from the left corner of the penalty area.
They've set something up here. You can tell the way they're going. I think it may be back post.
Brun Larsen does go towards the back post. Headed out by Wan-Bissaka. Fired back in. Brilliant save by Onana. It was Cullen on the volley. And then Foster with the header, and a point-blank save by Onana to keep it out behind for a corner kick. That was brilliant keeping.
I have to say, you know, we do these commentating things quite a lot. how often do you feel the need to applaud yourself? I felt the need to do that there from Onana. Not only was it a brilliant save, it looked brilliant as well, didn't it? It looked great from the cameras. It's a volley, it's caught so well, but the header on, changed direction, Onana on the line, punches it wide. That is a brilliant save by Onana.
Well, you called it absolutely perfectly, Pat. It went to the far post and it almost produced a goal. But Onana with a second athletic save to keep Burnley at bay. In comes the corner kick, headed out at that near post by Eriksson. Played back in on the volley. Onana under pressure catches the ball. So news of that Doncaster goal. Joshua Arudonka.
Gilliam Neal, Doncaster 1. It's Joe Ansah with his 20th of the season. Let's put Doncaster in front. A free header inside in the box to give Doncaster the lead. Gilliam Neal, Doncaster 1.
Salford 2, Harrogate 1 is the latest score. Crawley have got a second goal. Crawley 2, Grimsby 0. And that would, the way that results are going, all but give them the final playoff position in League 2. Chris Temple.
There's a bit of reaction around us here because I think Crewe have just gone behind as well, Deno, which means that Crawley will actually be up to 6th at the moment, going ahead of both Barrow and Crewe as a result of the 2-0 lead they have here. Clady Lolos with a brilliant low finish into the bottom left-hand corner. So Crawley doing their bit, down to others elsewhere now, 2-0.
And Noah Chilvers has scored for Colchester. It's just appeared on the video printer. So Colchester, which would then relegate Sutton United, who are trailing at MK Dons anyway. Colchester 1, Crewe 0 is the latest score in League 2. And in the Championship, there's been a goal at Carrow Road. Mark Webber.
Where it's Norwich 1, Swansea City 1. They've been knocking at the door for a bit, Norwich, but Gabriel Sara needed a screamer to do it. Lovely outside of the D and curled into the net. Norwich 1, Swansea City 1.
And news of that goal at Colchester from Rich Wolfenden.
Yeah, Noah Chilvers cutting inside onto his right foot to blast it in at the near post past Max Stryjek. That 1-0 lead will mean Colchester stay in League 2. But Crewe, they need a point to ensure they get playoffs. It's 1-0 Colchester.
BBC Radio 5 Live and the World Service, 0-0 at Old Trafford. O'Shea under brightening skies here. Ball lifted forward, headed away by Wan-Bissaka. It drops behind Brun Larsen and then further cleared away by Wan-Bissaka. Assignon now gets in front of Garnacho. And now Audebert lifts it forward to Assignon. Casemiro comes across and with a stooping cushion header forward. But Manchester United have to go back to Onana.
Yeah, and it's been a good little period, 5 or 10 minutes or so for Burnley. They've played it well a little bit further up the field. They've been pushed back by Manchester United, but some of the energy seems to have gone out of United's game.
Here is Maguire just stepping forward for Southampton 0, Stoke 1 is the latest score, incidentally, in the Championship. Stoke City 4 clear of Birmingham before today against the Southampton side assured of their playoff place, so that would be a huge result for Stoke City, and in fact it would actually guarantee their survival as the ball diagonally is spread out by Eriksson. Anthony, right hand side. Son now appearing here at Old Trafford. 0-0 it remains, and we've got 7.5 minutes to go to half-time. 5 Live, Eriksson waits. Back then, haven't seen much of a Manchester United side since, as an attacking sense, since Fernandes hit the post, and they've been caught in possession here. And it's Berger running forward, he's got options. One of them is Foster, he's found Foster. Foster in the penalty area. Onana again with a very good save.
Incredible chances in this game. I think that's probably the best chance of the game so far. Foster's got to be the goalkeeper there. At least he gets it on target, but he now knows that he's got the pace of the defender he's against.
Brun Larsen enters the penalty area, left-footed, crosses the ball, goes behind Fofana. Mainu should get this one away. Assignon, though, with a foul on Garnacho. As he stepped forward, he just threw Garnacho to the floor. But Manchester United are reliant on their goalkeeper Onana now with 3 valuable saves.
Yeah, I knew there would be chances. Just through the setups of the team, you will get chances in this sort of game. Goalkeeper's been good, Onana's been very good. I don't think you can say that Muric has had to do a great deal, but what is very, very clear is, in terms of pure pace, there's no way Maguire is going to stay with his marker, and there's no way that Casemiro is going to stay with Fofana either. So if I was up there and if I was Foster or Audebert or Fofana, I want the ball behind those full-backs and those centre-backs so I can run at it.
Swindon 2, Morecambe 2 is the latest score in League 2. as Manchester United win the ball back midway through the Burnley half. There was just a little slip there, I think it was from Brune Larsen. Eriksson now just outside the centre circle, and it'll be Fernandes to Mainu. It's no longer goalless at Molineux. Pat Murphy.
Wolves 1 up through Hee Chan Hwang, his first goal in 7 games. Soft one to concede, wasn't closed down, right foot shot. Wolves 1, Luton 0.
Break on for Burnley. Foster just showed a fraction too much the ball to Eriksson, who came across, covering on that left back roll and back towards Onana.
If you're looking at a game and if you're a manager and you think, okay, what are the defenders like? And the 3 defenders are back there. Maguire's shown that he's not been quick enough when he has to turn. The other defender beside him was Eriksson, and we know Eriksson's not quick. And Casemiro, we know he's not quick. And I know Manchester United have to do this just now purely because of the fact they've got a lot of injuries, but you've got to make something of that if you're Burnley. If you're going to stay in this division, you've got to make good advantage, and you've got to take it when you see weaknesses in your opposition. They haven't quite done that yet.
0-0, 5 minutes to go to half-time. News of that Stoke City goal, Andy Stevenson.
Well, Stoke will definitely be safe if they win, and they're ahead. A superb long ball from Keanu Hoover, collected by Tyrese Campbell. I thought he was dallying on the ball, but then a sudden burst of pace and a powerful shot low into the corner. Southampton 0, Stoke 1.
Here is Fernandes, turns, crosses the ball. Garnacho, good block from Assignon. Eriksson plays it early forward. Garnacho! Hits the side netting left-footed. Some of the United players in this main stand thought it had actually gone into the back of the net, but as he lashed it into the side netting, it's a goal kick and it remains 0-0.
Well, that's a nightmare for the commentator, because Højlund jumped up as if the goal had gone in, didn't he? He had reacted, but he wasn't actually reacting as a celebration. He was reacting in anger because he wanted the ball played across to him. But once again, another great opportunity, another chance to get it on target, and another player who fails to do so. It's a good volley, but it's not on target, so it will never count.
Another goal, it's at Wimbledon, Johnny Cantor.
Yeah, second goal for Wimbledon and a second goal for Omar Bougil to restore the Dons' lead from close range. Walsall's playoff hopes in tatters. AFC Wimbledon 2, Walsall 1.
Here is Cullen for Burnley, 30 yards out from goal. O'Shea joins the attack. Berger now back with O'Shea once again. Every outfield player is in the Manchester United half, and then it's given away rather cheaply. Odobert, though, tries to win it back, and he might have caught the Manchester United player, Garnacho, who's writhing around in agony. Gillingham 0, Doncaster 2 is a latest score at Priestfield. News of that second goal from Joshua Adodunker.
Gillingham 0, Doncaster 2. Doubled the lead through a rocket outside the penalty box from Luke Molineux, just outside. Gillingham 0, Doncaster 2.
We are going to go racing. The Gold Cup handicap chase, John Hunt.
Yeah, and they're down the far side for the final time here. Race warming up nicely. Annual Invictus and 3 under through 5 are the 2 leaders. They've been jumping fantastically throughout. In the middle of the pack, Kitty's Light, and also for Willie Mullins, the new champion trainer, Nick Rockett, in mid-division, trying to make their moves.
We'll be back with you for the conclusion of that race at Sandown. As 0-0, Garnacho back on his feet, but hobbling quite badly. A goal at MK Dons, Sheridan Robbins.
MK Dons 2, Sutton United 0. Captain Alex Gilby with a wonderful finish into the top corner, but that really could condemn Sutton to the National League. MK Dons 2, Sutton 0.
Yeah, they are going to need to score 3 goals and then still hope for a 4-goal swing. So Sutton United will be relegated. Colchester, regardless anyway, leading Crewe by a goal to 0. Doncaster Rovers then on course for a club record, and there isn't a team outside of the top flight who's finished the season in the manner that Doncaster Rovers have. So they're going to beat their old club record that was set back in 1947, but 11 successive wins. That is seriously impressive form from Doncaster, who towards the start of the year were down in the nether regions of League 2. 2 minutes to go to half-time, 0-0 it remains here at Old Trafford.
Yes, another stoppage, because this time Anthony goes for the ball and his foot is trodden on the next one. Painful one, that, so we've got a break.
We're going to go racing. John Hunt.
To the third last then in the Bet365 Gold Cup, formerly known as the Whitbread, a great end-of-season highlight, and Annual Invictus takes 3 out, still just in front. New challenger is certainly red. Lemailos in behind those. Am I Right? Rachel Blackmore's mount making making progress into fourth. Kitty's Light's going to have to find something very special if he's to win it once again, and Minella Kakuna's now starting to stay on as they clear over the second last fence. Annual Invictus still leads, has made every yard of the running, now being challenged by Minella Kakuna for new champion trainer Willie Mullins. Can he cap a great day? Minella Kakuna looks dangerous. Annual Invictus still with him. Behind them is Nick Rocket staying on pretty strongly. A great scrap to the line. Minella Kakuna in company with Annual Invictus. They hit the line now. Minella Kakuna has won it from Annual Invictus. In behind in third was Nick Rocket. Fourth place went to Certainly Red, and Am I Right and Sam Brown were fifth and sixth. What a way to cap a big day for Willie Mullins. He's the new British champion jumps trainer, and he has just won the Bet365 Gold Cup handicap chase with Minella Kakuna, ridden to victory by Danny Mullins.
Thank you very much, John. There will be reaction from all of the racing, and a significant day for Willie Mullins in Sports Report. The results and the reaction with Mark Chapman at 5 before we bring you our next commentary from Goodison Park, Everton against Brentford. We're inside the last 10 seconds of normal time. There has been a lengthy stoppage there for a little bit of treatment on Vitinho. We'll get a quick update in the rugby though, Alfie Reynolds.
Yeah, Harlequins 19, Northampton 13. Stefan Levis has just scored Harlequins' third try. Luke Northmore has also crossed for his second, and Northampton's try, a classic Saints counter-attack scored by Ollie Slightholme. Harlequins 19, Northampton 13.
As it stands, Crawley are going to grab the last playoff position in League Two at the expense of Barrow, and Sutton United are going to be relegated. There's been a goal at Valley Parade. Nick Hatton.
Bradford City 1, Newport County 0. Callum Kavanagh with a header at the near post sees Bradford City doing their bit in the playoff race. Results elsewhere going against them, but Bradford City 1, Newport 0.
They need Grimsby Town to score 2 goals because the equation for Graham Alexander's side was a win, a Barrow defeat, and Crawley not to win. But Crawley are 2 goals to the good, as this is Brune Larson for Burnley, left-hand side in the Manchester United half, just in from the touchline. There's been a goal also in West Yorkshire. It's at Huddersfield. Shojo Saka.
Huddersfield 0, Birmingham City 1. Cross from the left from Keshi Anderson. Miyoshi on the far post to slot it in. If they lose, Huddersfield Town will get relegated this afternoon. Huddersfield 0, Birmingham 1.
And Birmingham will move to 49 points. So Huddersfield on the brink of getting relegated. Burnley here have been awarded a direct free kick left of centre in stoppage time.
And they've been, I would say, it's about one blade of grass right to a perfect position. It's exactly where you want it. They've always played up. Casemiro got himself square and bumped him out of the way, and Casemiro's shouting and screaming at the referees, what have I done? Well, you fouled him. That's what you've done. You blocked him because you got yourself square. And Casemiro, who can play centre-back, but he can't play it brilliantly. He was caught square there, and he would have no one else to blame if Burnley go and score from this great opportunity.
It certainly is an excellent opportunity. It's just, I don't know, 23 yards out from goal. It's left of centre. Cardiff City 0, Middlesbrough 1 is the latest score in the Championship. St Johnstone 0, Hibs 2 is the latest score from McDermott Park in the Scottish Premiership. You're up to date with the goals as they go in. BBC Radio 5 Live, BBC Sounds, and also live on the World Service. And Brune Larson and Foster are the 2 Burnley players who are standing over this free kick.
He's got a real look of Brune Larson, hasn't it? It's going to have to be good if it's going to be Anana.
There's 4 in the wall for Burnley. There's 5 in the wall for Manchester United. The Burnley 4 are just in front of the United wall. It's Brune Larson, and it was straight at Onana. Comfortable save, head height, 0-0, and in fact there is the half-time whistle. Pat Nevin.
Yeah, a very interesting first half. I mean, both teams played the same very old-fashioned stroke system, and it was a very old-fashioned game. Problem was, everyone had chances. Just about every forward player on both sides had chances, maybe the exception of Hoyland, and none of them looked as if they were capable of doing that. That's a problem. No quality in the final third. Other than that, quite an intriguing game.
And another goal at Valley Parade. Nick Hatton.
Bradford City 2, Newport County 0. This time Andy Cook with the header to double Bradford City's advantage. A minute to the break. Bradford City 2, Newport 0.
But it's to no avail because Crawley are leading Grimsby Town by 2-0. But here in the Premier League we've certainly had chances. Manchester United hit a post with Fernandes. Onana has made 3 excellent saves for a Burnley side who've certainly created a number of opportunities. But at half-time at Old Trafford, it's Manchester United 0, Burnley 0.
All 3 of the bottom 3 playing today. Burnley goalless at Manchester United. Luton behind at Wolves. Pat Murphy.
1-0 Wolves. Hwang's first goal of 2024. It was even until about 10 minutes before half-time. Morris up for a good header, taken straight away cleanly by the keeper Sarr for Wolves. Ball up the other end. Hwang wrong-footed. Mengi right foot shot deflected. Wolves 1, Luton 0.
Sheffield United are still playing at Newcastle. Lose there today. They are down, but it's all square. Chris.
With 30 seconds of the first half remaining, Newcastle 1, Sheffield United 1. This has been a very open game. Decent chances for both. Newcastle ending the first half the stronger, but still 1-1 with Sheffield United.
Oh, John.
Yeah, not as carefree as I'd hoped they'd be, these two at half-time. Fulham 0, Crystal Palace 0. Having said that, Palace could have been 3 up after 15 minutes. Michael Olise somehow missed one through on goal. Mateta shanked a volley over and Richards headed over from 7 yards out. Fulham finally woke up about 3 minutes before half-time. Muniz poked a shot wide and Diop headed over from the resulting corner. So we shall see what the second half brings. Fulham 0, Palace 0.
Norwich have turned things round at Carrow Road at home to Swansea. Josh Sargent in the 3rd minute of first half injury time. It's his 16th of the season. Details from Mark Webber. Yeah, it's Norwich 2, Swansea 1. Josh Sargent in the area by the left post. A cute header, narrow header home to seal a scoreline which works in favour. They still have to wait for Hull though. At the moment it's Norwich 2, Swansea 1. Harrogate have equalised again at Salford in League 2. Nothing on this game. They are level at 2-2. Half-time whistle has gone at St James's. Chris Coles.
Newcastle 1, Sheffield United 1. Anil Ahmedhodzic nodding Sheffield United in front. The inevitable Alexander Isak equalising things for Newcastle. Sheffield United then hit the crossbar through a Mason Holgate header. 1-1. Sheffield United will not be going down this afternoon as it stands.
Huddersfield will, though, in the Championship. Shojo Saka.
Huddersfield 0, Birmingham 1. As it stands, Huddersfield are going down. The goal in the 45th minute from Koji Miyoshi giving Birmingham a shot in the arm in their relegation fight. Huddersfield struggling to create opportunities. Their only decent chance fell to Jack Rudoni. Put it wide from 15 yards. Huddersfield on the brink of relegation. Huddersfield Town 0, Birmingham City 1.
Sheffield Wednesday continue to fight, though. Adam Pope.
They do. It's Sheffield Wednesday 1, West Bromwich Albion 0. A tense affair in which both keepers were forced into smart saves. But Anthony Musaba won a corner from which he scored from a tight angle after West Brom failed to clear on 2 occasions. The Baggies Carl Bartley and Grady Diangana have both gone close with shots towards the end of the half, but it's a scoreline that keeps Wednesday out of the bottom 3 and West Brom still not certain of the playoffs. Sheffield Wednesday 1, West Brom 0.
Gives Hull hope. They play Ipswich tonight at 8 o'clock. Goodness me, Plymouth fans will be nervous round Bromelo.
They will indeed, chappers. Half-time, Millwall 0, Plymouth 0. A stubborn showing from the Pilgrims, who fought hard to remain level at the break. They've soaked up so much pressure. Chances for Longman, Leonard and Bradshaw for Millwall haven't been enough to find the breakthrough. Plymouth struggling to develop a foothold so far, and a reminder they could secure safety today with a win if Birmingham fail to. Half-time, Millwall 0, Plymouth 0.
Mind you, Blackburn fans won't be at ease either. Kenny Crawford.
Half-time, Blackburn Rovers 0, Coventry City 0. Decent game despite the scoreline, and the best 2 chances fell to serial goal scorer Sammy Smodics for the hosts. He blasted one over and the other was well saved by Brad Collins. As it stands, Rovers only 1 point clear of the drop zone. Half-time, Blackburn 0, Coventry 0.
Stoke, on the other hand, safe this afternoon. They've had a very good first half at St Mary's. Andy Stevenson.
Yes, Southampton 0, Stoke 1. It would be enough to see Stoke safe if it stays this way. The goal was created by a superb long ball from Kiana Hoover, collected by Tyrese Campbell, who I thought had held onto the ball too long, but he then suddenly darted away from his marker with a burst of pace and fired a powerful shot low into the corner. Southampton 5 changes from the heavy defeat at Leicester. They've looked a bit disjointed at times, but have also created some great chances. Sekou Mara got his head on the ball just before the on-rushing Daniel Everson in the Stoke goal, but Luke McNally did really well to clear the ball away inside the 6-yard box. Southampton 0, Stoke 1.
Just to give you an idea now of how tight it is at the bottom, if everything stays as it is, Stoke would have 53, Blackburn 50, Sheffield Wednesday 50, Plymouth 49. They'd be out of the bottom three on goal difference. Birmingham would also have 49. Huddersfield would join Rotherham in being relegated. In that playoff race, Norwich, who are 2-1 up at home to Swansea, and the half-time whistle has just gone there, they would have 75. West Brom 72. They're losing at Hillsborough. They'd both have 1 to play. Hull play Ipswich tonight. They've got 2 left to play. They would have 69. In the other games in the Championship today, Bristol City lead Rotherham by 1-0. Tommy Conway got that from the penalty spot. 12 for the season for him. Cardiff 0, Middlesbrough 1. Matt Clark with that goal. And at Vicarage Road, it's Watford 0, Sunderland 0. Earlier in League One, these are all results. Barnsley 1, Northampton 1, Derby 2, Carlisle 0, Exeter 1, Oxford 2, Fleetwood 3, Burton 0, Lincoln 0, Portsmouth 2, Peterborough 3, Bolton 3, Port Vale 0, Cambridge 0, Reading 3, Blackpool 2, Shrewsbury 1, Leyton Orient 3, Stevenage 2, Cheltenham 1, Wigan 2, Bristol Rovers 0, Wycombe 1, Charlton 0. Automatically promoted, Portsmouth and Derby. Bolton will play Barnsley and Peterborough will take on Oxford in the playoffs. Going down, Cheltenham, Fleetwood, Port Vale and Carlisle. Let's go into League Two, because as things stand, Sutton are being relegated this afternoon. They're 2-0 down at MK Dons. Sheridan Robbins.
Yeah, MK Dons 2, Sutton 0. An early Jack Painter really knocked the confidence from the away side, who needed a big win. And after that, they could barely muster opportunities, certainly not ones that tested the goalkeeper. Alex Gilby then doubled the lead 5 minutes before the break, and as it stands, Sutton look destined for National League football next season. Half time, MK Dons 2, Sutton 0.
What doesn't help Sutton is that Colchester are winning as well. Rich Wolfenden.
Yeah, it's 1-0 to Colchester at half-time. They only need 1 point. Well, they're on course for 3, thanks to Noah Chilver's right-footed drive into the bottom corner. Crewe currently hanging on to the playoff places thanks to other results going their way. Half-time, it's Colchester 1, Crewe 0.
They are. They're in the final playoff spot of Crewe. The thing that is helping them big time is that Barrow are losing at home to Mansfield. Get details of that shortly. Doncaster continue to motor on in League 2. They're going to be in the playoffs come 5 o'clock. As things stand, Joshua Adedonka.
Gillingham 0, Doncaster 2. Goals from Joe Anside and Lumoni has put Doncaster on course for the playoffs and a record 11 straight win in the league. They need to avoid defeat to make the playoffs. They're winning and cruising at the break. Gillingham 0, Doncaster 2.
So let's go to Barrow, who at the moment are going to drop out of the playoffs. Gavin Wallace.
Absolutely nowhere near it just now. Barrow 0, Mansfield 1. Just now that goal came on 17 minutes. George Maris, he took everyone by surprise. Ball whipped through into the box. We thought he was going to go high, and he just wrapped his foot round it and put it well beyond the goalkeeper. Barrow have had chances, Mark, but they've been extremely wasteful. And at the moment, as we say, they're outside the playoffs. Barrow 0, Mansfield 1.
Next to Crawley, who lead Grimsby by 2 goals still, so they're in the playoffs. Chris Temple.
Yes, beneficiaries of their 2-0 lead here against Grimsby at half-time, and Barrow being behind. They've never been involved in the EFL playoffs. Crawley, they lead through Danilo Orsi and Claidi Lolos on 24 and 33 minutes after Grimsby missed a couple of early chances. But at the moment, Crawley, it could have gone about as well as it could have done for them, I think, Mark. They lead 2-0.
And that means it's not going well for Bradford. They need Crawley to drop points if they're going to make it into the playoffs. They couldn't be doing any more in the game that they are involved in, though. Nick Hatton.
Yeah, Bradford City 2, Newport County 0. 2 headers in the last 3 minutes of the first half. Callum Kavanagh and Andy Cook with the goals, nodding in from opposing flanks. City doing their bit, as you say, Mark, in the playoff race. It's Crawley who are spoiling the party right now. Bradford 2, Newport 0.
Walsall at the start of the day did have a chance of making the playoffs, but that has probably gone at AFC Wimbledon. Johnny Cantor.
Yeah, that's right, Mark. They're probably slimmer than a wafer-thin mint as it stands. 2 goals from Omar Bougel in this first half. A header and 1 from close range has all but dashed the Saddlers' hopes, despite Isaac Hutchinson's penalty. Just coming up to half-time, AFC Wimbledon 2, Walsall 1.
Accrington 1, Tranmere 1, Forest Green Rovers 0, Notts County 0, Salford 2, Harrogate 2, Swindon 2, Morecambe 2. Charlie Austin got both of the Swindon goals, 14 for him for the season. And Stockport lead at Wrexham by 1-0. Stockport, Mansfield, Wrexham already guaranteed promotion. If everything stays as is, it will be MK Dons against Crewe and Doncaster versus Crawley in the playoffs. Bradford, Barrow and Walsall would all miss out, and Sutton are going down with Forest Green Rovers. Colchester would be safe into the Scottish Premiership. Livingston could be relegated today. Not as things stand, though. Connie McLaughlin.
No, and that's all because of a Bruce Anderson strike. Well, I say a strike, it was more of a lob, actually. Some really poor defending from Ross County allowed the top goal scorer to do just that over the top of the county goalkeeper Ross Laidlaw's head. The Lions have been in control of this one, Mark, and if it stays this way, as you say, they are safe for now, but with 4 games to go after this, it might just be delaying the inevitable. I think Livingston 1, Ross County 0.
Elsewhere in the bottom half of the Scottish Premiership, Aberdeen 0, Motherwell 0, St Johnstone 0, Hibs 2. One game in the top half of the Scottish Premiership today, Kilmarnock 0, Hearts 0. If Hearts win that, they'll be guaranteed a top 3 finish. We've reached the playoff stages in the National League. Barnet Solihull Moors is at 5:30. In the National League North, goalless between Scunthorpe and Boston at half-time. National League South, goalless between Chelmsford and Braintree. Back to all the other Scottish half-times. Arbroath 0, Queen's Park 3 and Dunfermline 1, Inverness 0. The importance of those 2 scores is that it means the final relegation playoff spot in the Championship between Queen's Park and Inverness will go to the final day of the season. Everything else in Scotland in the Championship is sorted. The other 2 games this afternoon, goalless between Morton and Wraith and Partick Thistle and Ayr. In Scottish League 1, Alloa 0, Hamilton 1, Annan 1, Falkirk 1, Edinburgh City 1, Stirling 1, Kelty Hearts 0, Montrose 1. If that stays as is, because Cove Rangers are losing 2-0 at Queen of the South, Montrose will get the final playoff spot in that division. In Scottish League 2, Clyde lead East Fife by a 1-0, which means they won't get their final relegation playoff spot today. That will go to the final day of the season. Dumbarton 1, Elgin 2, Forfar 2, Stranraer 0, Spartans 1, Peterhead 1, and the Scottish champions of League 2, Stenhousemuir, lead Bonnyrigg Rose by a 0-0. Into the Gallagher Premiership in the Rugby Union, Leicester 7, Bristol 0 at half-time. And at Twickenham, Alfie?
Harlequins 19, Northampton 13. The Harlequins tries in the first half scored by Stefan Levis and 2 for Luke Northmore, and Northampton's Ollie Slightholme crossed for their only try, although Sam Graham had a score chalked off with the final play of the half. That would have given them a half-time lead, the TMO picking up on Alex Mitchell's knock-on. So at half-time, it's Harlequins 19, Northampton 13.
In the United Rugby Championship earlier, Glasgow beat Zebra 40 points to 9. It finished Bulls 61, Ospreys 24 at half-time. Cardiff 0, Edinburgh 7. And there's one game in Super League this afternoon, and that is tight at half-time. Salford 11, Warrington 10. 4:01, Jill Mackenzie has the news.
Listen on BBC Sounds. This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
The Ministry of Defence is not commenting on reports that British troops could help the US deliver aid to Gaza by sea. No decision has been taken, but troops are needed to drive lorries along a floating causeway to the beach. The United States doesn't want to put its own personnel on the ground. Ukraine says its energy infrastructure has been targeted by more Russian airstrikes overnight. 4 power plants were seriously damaged. President Zelensky's renewed his call for urgent military aid. And ITV says its presenter, Raghi Omar, is recovering at home with his family after being treated in hospital. He appeared to fall ill while reading the 10 o'clock news last night.
This is 5 Live Sports with Mark Chapman.
On 5 Live. Listen on BBC Sounds.
4:45 on Sports Extra. Full commentary of the Women's Six Nations Grand Slam decider between France and England. Chris Jones.
28 championship wins in a row, 5 Six Nations titles in a row. The Red Roses going for a 3rd straight Grand Slam. Can France stop this Red Roses machine in Bordeaux? They're certainly best placed of all the other sides to do so, and they beat Wales at a canter last time out. But do they have the consistency and the composure against this ruthless England winning machine? Kick-off just over 40 away.
And once that is over, you will get the semi-final second leg in the Women's Champions League between Chelsea and Barcelona, with Chelsea 1 goal up from that first leg last Saturday. So much to play for, so much on the line this Saturday afternoon here on 5 Live. Teams are out for the second half at Old Trafford. Here are Pat and Ian.
Thank you, Mark. I had a text from a Manchester United fan who sat not too far away from me. He described the first half as a shambles.
Yes, I would say so, because I say shambles. I'd use the phrase old school because it was so open, and both teams are playing this incredibly unusual these days systems against each other, which give you lots of space, and you can see all the weaknesses, and good players should be able to make use of those weaknesses. But I think maybe his disappointment is, if I had to ask you who's been the man of the match so far for Manchester United,
Onana.
Correct is the correct answer, and that tells you something about playing against Burnley at home for Manchester United.
What an opportunity this for Burnley. If they could just take one of the chances, and they created a number in that first half, they could give themselves a real boost in their battle to stay up in the Premier League. But it's 0-0, the second half is back underway, neither side has made a change, so Manchester United are attacking the Stretford end as they play from right to left as we look in their red shirts, white shorts and black socks. They have Onana in goal, Wan-Bissaka, Casemiro, Maguire and Dalot, Fernandes, Mainu and Eriksson, Anthony, Højlund and Garnacho. But this is Foster leading the charge, and his forward ball as he ran at the heart of the Manchester United defence, threaded it through towards, it was Fofana, it went away from him. Onana berates his Manchester United players in front of him. The Burnley side, incidentally, is Muric in goal, a back four of Assignon, Esteve, O'Shea and Vitinho, Berger, Cullen, Odegaard, Brun Larsen, Foster and Fofana. 0-0, Pat Nevin.
So talking about space there, Odegaard got the ball inside his own half and ran 50 yards.
Yeah.
Nobody touched him. Nobody even made an attempt at tackling him at all. Ran straight to the heart of defence and played a slip ball through. All he had to do is play it to Fofana's feet. In those situations, don't play any space, play it to feet. He was through one-on-one the goalkeeper. That's how simple it was, and it shows you the weakness of that Manchester United defence and that central defensive midfield area.
Can't help but feel that they are there for the taking for a Burnley side. Only one defeat in their last 7 in the Premier League. They've picked up 10 points out of a possible 21. Garnacho, though, left side of the area to Anthony. Anthony waits, crosses to Eriksson, stabs it forward. Fernandes helps it on, picked up by Muric. Elsewhere, the issues that could be resolved today in the Football League, and bearing in mind that congratulations to Paul Warne and his Derby County side, promoted back to the Championship after a 2-0 victory against Carlisle United. Bolton, Barnsley, Peterborough, Oxford will be the playoff games. Cheltenham relegated with Fleetwood, Port Vale and Carlisle. But in the Championship, Huddersfield Town, trailing at home to Birmingham City, will be relegated as it stands. And in League 2, the playoff positions, MK Dons, Doncaster, Crawley and Crewe, because Barrow are losing at home to Mansfield by a 1-0, and Crawley are leading Grimsby 2-0. Walsall out of the equation, trailing 2-1 at Wimbledon. Bradford lead Newport by 2-0, but need Grimsby to do them a favour as it stands with that Crawley 2-0 lead. So that sums up what is happening elsewhere. Don't forget Sports Report with Mark Chapman at 5. We'll give you the full picture and as much live reaction as we can before our next commentary of Everton-Brentford, which is at 5:30. But 0-0 this in the Premier League. Back to Muric. O'Shea, there's a number of the people sitting in the director's box are just taking their seats away towards our left. Odegaard runs forward, helps it on its way out towards Brun Larsen. Brun Larsen runs now. There's a man on the overlap, but he shoots instead right-footed. That was blocked by Cullen, and the referee's blown his whistle, and there will be a free kick. Huddersfield 0, Birmingham 1 was the latest score. There's been another goal. Shojo Saka.
There is hope for Huddersfield. Huddersfield 1, Birmingham 1. Cross from the right by Jack Rudoni. Finish by Reece Healey. It's 1-1. A draw may or may not be enough for Huddersfield, depending on other results today, but it's 1-1.
Not at the moment, though, because Millwall 0, Plymouth 0 and Sheffield Wednesday are leading West Brom. So a draw still not good enough for Huddersfield Town. 1-1 at home to Birmingham. Wrexham have equalised at home to Stockport County in League 2 as the ball is played out, and that was a Manchester United free kick.
Yeah, and a very, very strange one, Ian. The ball was shot, they were in a brilliant position. It cannoned off the defender, ricocheted out, hit the goalkeeper, hit the referee tiny little bit, stopped the play and gave the ball to Manchester United. Very unfair in Burnley.
Up towards Højlund, he tried to lay the ball off, tied it up by Burnley to Vitinho. There's been another goal at Molineux, Pat Murphy.
Another one for Wolves and another soft one. Deep curling cross, Totti up from the back, headed in from 6 yards, an avoidable goal. Wolves 2, Luton 0.
That'll be 1 win in 15 then for Luton Town, who'll remain on 25 points. Burnley will move to 24 with this point, within 2 of Nottingham Forest, pending that appeal, of course, for the 4-point deduction. But if they consider that to be a frivolous appeal, there's still a chance that Forest could have that increased. They take on Manchester City tomorrow. Commentary on BBC Radio 5 Live. Garnacho, meanwhile, enters the penalty area, left-hand side, away from Assignon, pulls it back, and there was Anthony. And he just tried to guide it, right-footed inside the 6-yard area, but it was straight at Muric.
Brilliant, actually, fantastic wing play there. Gets there. Good thing about Anthony now, coming off the wing, getting into goal-scoring positions when the opposite winger gets the ball. Great chance there. That's how you play 4-4-2.
Now remember, Sheffield Wednesday were leading West Bromwich Albion by a 1-0 as Fernandes clips it forward. Anthony makes the run, good save by Muric, rebound to Hoyland, hand on that from Muric, pushes the ball out. Eriksson, right side of the penalty area, plays it in low, cleared away by Esteb. There's been another goal at Hillsborough. Adam Pope.
Sheffield Wednesday 2, West Bromwich Albion 0, and Ike Ugbo has slammed home to double Wednesday's lead after the first goal scorer Musaba kept going, the ball broke 3 and Ugbo fired it in at the cop end. Sheffield Wednesday 2, West Bromwich Albion 0.
Certainly doesn't do anything for Huddersfield Town then. As it stands, Huddersfield will still be relegated despite drawing 1-1 at home to Birmingham, and the Old Trafford crowd were hoping for a penalty when Casemiro went down under a challenge from Fofana. And now a free kick has been awarded, and there's a stoppage in play, Pat Nevin.
Yes, there is. An obvious dive there. No doubt about it. I think the referee got that absolutely spot on there from Casemiro. But just a tackle a moment later, Casemiro's going to the back just out. To be honest, that's bookable. That really is bookable. I mean, it's going to try and start and get that stuff out of the game. So he dived in there, but there was great chances before that, wasn't there? Manchester United didn't manage to finish any of them, but it's just kind of underlined what we were seeing in the first half. Really quite good until the final third, getting into good positions. Nobody can put a decent shot in goal, but just a little bit of rolling about there, which was bordering on embarrassing from one of the Burnley players.
Cardiff City 0, Middlesbrough 2 is the latest score in the Championship, and there's been a sending off at Ewood Park. Kenny Crawford.
53 minutes gone, still Blackburn 0, Coventry City 0, but it's John Eustace, the Blackburn Rovers manager, who's been sent to the stands. There was a scuffle that broke out during a throw-in near the technical area, and referee Anthony Backhouse saw Eustace do something, and he's up in the stands. It's still 0-0 between Rovers and Coventry.
Blackburn would edge to 50 points. They're still not safe as it stands. The deadlock has been broken at Craven Cottage. John Southall.
And Fulham have the lead. Fulham 1, Crystal Palace 0. Rodrigo Muniz stooping at the far post to head it in. 9th league goal of the season. Fulham 1, Crystal Palace 0.
Accrington 2, Tranmere 1 is the latest score in League 2. You're up to date. 5 Live, BBC Sounds and the World Service from the BBC. 8 minutes into the second half. Manchester United looking to try and consolidate 6th position in the Premier League. Newcastle, remember, drawing at home to Sheffield United 1-1. Burnley, even with 3 points, would remain in the relegation zone, but what a boost it would be if they could get the 3 points, and they're on the attack again. Brun Larsen, they've certainly had the opportunities. Left corner of the area, cuts inside, passes the ball. Assignon takes it on edge of the area and then clattered away by Dalot.
I mean, you couldn't call this one just now. I mean, it is so open. There are chances for each team. This game could end 0-0, 1-1 or 4-0 to either side. It is all over the place.
Newcastle United, Sheffield United, Chris Coles.
1-1. The second half has been sedate considering how lively the first half was. Newcastle are edging possession, beginning to look more and more threatening as Longstaff skips into the box. But no chances to speak of as yet. Newcastle 1, Sheffield United 1.
Garnacho enters the penalty area, and Garnacho right-footed just puts it wide, about a foot wide of the right-hand post. Goal kick 0-0.
And he's in the angle that he wants to be. He's only about 8-9 yards out. He's got no one really closing him down. He just needs to curl it into the corner there. But like everyone else before him in this game, he's trying out too hard. He's not precise enough. And that actually goes by a couple of yards, which is nowhere near good enough from there.
Another goal at Livingston. Connie McLaughlin.
Livingston 2, Ross County 0. They've doubled the lead in their fight for survival. Sean Kelly from the penalty spot. Now 9 points separates both of these sides if it stays this way with 4 games to go. Just could they? Livingston 2, Ross County 0.
Yeah, Livingston to move to 21 points behind the 30 of Ross County, the team who are above them after the split, of course, in the Scottish Premiership. 0-0 here at Old Trafford. Ball lifted forward by Fernandes. Flag stays down. Hoyland away. Hoyland lets the ball settle. Enters the penalty area. Side onto goal. Tries to turn. Pulls it back. Wan-Bissaka can't get the shooting opportunity. And Cullen came back into the penalty area just to take the ball away off his toes.
Yeah, Hoyland through there, 1-on-1. If he just hasn't got the pace to shrug the defender off, he should be getting in front of him and he should get a 1-on-1. In the end, snuffed out easily by Burnley.
Accrington 3, Tranmere 1 is a latest score in League 2. The last we heard, Sutton United were being relegated. Another goal, Sheridan Robbins.
And they still are as it stands, but they have got to go back. MK Dons 2, Sutton 1. Stephen Duke McKenna with a lovely finish past the goalkeeper. They're trying to G up their fans to get them up for this one. They need a few more goals, but it's MK Dons 2, Sutton 1.
Yeah, they need a miracle. Colchester United still leading against Crewe, and they had to win and then hope for at least a 4-goal swing. Ain't going to happen, or unlikely to happen, because sometimes strange things do happen. Free kick, a corner kick rather. In it comes from that right-hand side. Casemiro plays the ball back out towards Fernandes. Fernandes floats it over, headed away by Assignon. Those yellow shirts of Burnley file out of their penalty area. Ball played up towards Garnacho. On this left-hand side of the penalty area, attacking the Stretford end, plays the ball, it reaches Fernandes, forward to Eriksson, out of play, it goes for a goal kick, 0-0 it remains, it's no longer 1-1. Newcastle, Chris Coles.
Newcastle are in front, they lead Sheffield United 2-1. Bruno Guimaraes, stooping header at the far post from an Anthony Gordon free kick. This scoreline would relegate Sheffield United today. Newcastle 2, Sheffield United 1.
And Newcastle United would move level with Manchester United on 53 points as they look for a European place for next season. Fofana is going to be coming off, and Amdouni is the player who is going to be coming on as they make that change for Vincent Kompany.
Just couldn't find enough space. You know, if he got on the ball, he looked brilliant every time he got on the ball. Fofana. Problem is, couldn't get on the ball often enough, and you know, whether that's his fault or his teammates not giving him enough of the service, but he's been given his time. First chance they have made changed in the second half. They've tried to make it. We'll see if that makes a difference.
Burnley have only had one win in 24 attempts at Old Trafford since 1962. However, they do have a better record at Old Trafford than they do on their own pitch at Turf Moor. 6 points from 8 in the Premier League here, 5 points from 9 at Turf Moor. As Middlesbrough have got a third goal in South Wales. Cardiff 0, Middlesbrough 3. And Burnley are coming forward, and it's Audebert. Right-hand side of the penalty area, the cross is a deep one. Brune Larsen is forced out very, very wide on that left-hand side. I'm not looking at you, but did you just drop your microphone in annoyance?
Yes, I did. No, yeah. I did. I absolutely did. I cannot believe he made the cross when he did. I'll explain in a minute why.
Here is Brune Larsen, tries to slip it forward, blocks. Vitinho knows he's coming back from an offside position, and therefore he can't touch the ball.
Oh, very quickly, ball down the right hand side, but it is bouncing. There is no way he's going to get a good cross in there. You have got time to take one more touch, and you can put a really dangerous cross in. Like everyone else today, he's lashed at it, and he's lashed at it early. Composure, you need that in the final third.
Crawley leading Grimsby by 2-0. Manchester United have lost the ball, and then the shot fired in and fired over by Amdouni. Barrow need to better that result. The last we heard, they were trailing at home to Mansfield, but there's been another goal in Cumbria. Gavin Wallace.
It's been coming, Deno, it's been coming. Barrow have managed to score. Ball cut across from the left-hand side. Keane Spence around about the penalty spot, slammed home. It's now Barrow 1, Mansfield 1.
Not enough though, because Barrow had moved to 69 points. They would still be a point behind Crawley, so a draw not enough for Barrow at this stage. Motherwell are down to 10 men. Jack Vale has been sent off as they're drawing 0-0 away at Aberdeen at Pittodrie. We're going to go racing again. John Hunt at Sandown.
Final big race of the jump season this in. It'll be 2000 Guineas Day next weekend, but here the select hurdle, they're coming over the second last, and the favourite Ampere Pass has made rapid progress together with Sir Gerhard, the two stablemates, both trained by Willie Mullins, who has this afternoon been crowned champion trainer of Great Britain. Lagadan's in behind them, but made a mistake when in third place. Then Blue King Daru, Ampere Pass is out in front now, driven out with a 3-length lead over Lagadan. It's going to be Mullins to beat Dan Skelton, and that's been the story of the season. Ampere Pass wins the select hurdle, Lagadan was second, Sir Gerhard was third, and Mullins absolutely invincible. Not just here at Sandown today, Ian, but throughout the jump season.
Certainly has. Thank you, John. There'll be reaction in Sports Report. It'll be a busy Sports Report, a lot to cram in before we go to Goodison for our next commentary at 5:30. Bristol City 2, Rotherham 0 is the latest score in the Championship. Goals going against Bradford, but another goal for Graham Alexander's side. Nick Hatton.
Yes, Bradford City 3, Newport County 0. It's Bobby Poynton who has it, an absolute rocket from the edge of the box. Half a clearance from Newport from a corner. Poynton took a touch and rifled it in from the edge of the box. Bradford City 3, Newport County 0.
It remains 0-0 here. We've been playing for an hour, but Burnley are on the attack. It's picked up by Foster. He's got Berger ahead of him. Amdouni joining the attack. Strong run by Foster. Gets the ball to Amdouni. Slightly behind him. Amdouni with a shot away, charge down, and then picked up by Onana. Still 0-0. Another goal elsewhere. It's at Carrow Road in the Championship. Mark Webber.
It is Norwich 2, Swansea 2. Matt Grimes, the Swansea captain, from the penalty spot against Angastan after Ronald Pereira was brought down. Norwich 2, Swansea 2.
Hull City will be encouraged by that. Norwich potentially dropping points at home. Pat Nevin.
Just again there, Foster gets the ball again in his own half. He did it at the start of the second half there. Runs 50 yards without even the suggestion of a tackle on him. You shouldn't be able to do that at the very top level. He's done it time and time again here. The problem is, like the rest of the players, the final pass nowhere near good enough. I'm beginning to wonder if that ball's actually a beach ball out there. No one can keep it down when they try and shoot.
Cardiff 0, Middlesbrough 4, a latest score in the Championship. Gillingham have got a goal back. Gillingham 1, Doncaster Rovers 2. Assignon forward for Burnley, right hand side of the penalty area, and then his heavy touch will allow Mainu to come across on this near side, still deep inside the Manchester United half, to Fernandez, combines with Mainu. Assignon continues to put him under pressure. Eriksson gets the ball away. Estep gets in front of Hoyland but shrugs him out of the way, and unfairly so, and gives away a free kick that Manchester United want to take quickly just inside their own half. Fernandez does exactly that. Flag stays down. Here is Eriksson. Eriksson tried to cross the ball towards Anthony, took a deflection there and off Coutinho, and rebounds into the arms of Maric. 0-0 it remains.
Another opportunity. Problem was, it's Eriksson. He's through. He's 3 yards ahead of the centre back. At this age he needs a wee bit more than 3 yards. Caught him quite easily there, so in that case he tried to play the player, his teammate in, but it just wasn't on that.
Assignon now forward for Burnley. Still it remains goalless. Cross comes in, cleared by Maguire. Aberdeen won the 10 men of Motherwell 0, and there's now a penalty at St James's Park. Chris Coles.
Alexander Isak steps up for Newcastle and scores for Newcastle to make it 3-1 to the home side. Gordon fouled in the area, Isak does the rest. Newcastle 3, Sheffield United 1. Sheffield United are Championship bound.
A feisty encounter at Ewood Park. Kenny Crawford.
64 minutes gone. Blackburn 0, Coventry City 0, but City down to 10 men. Liam Kitching, the defender, sent off for a last man challenge on Blackburn forward Sam Gallagher. 0-0 between Blackburn and Coventry.
As it stands, Newcastle United will be a point behind Manchester United. Manchester United 54, Newcastle United 53. 62 minutes played. Eric Ten Hag is looking for reinforcements. He's having a word with Ahmed Diallo, who's going to be coming on for Hoyland, and McTominay is the other player who's going to be coming on.
I think McTominay isn't a bad idea, because he does seem to have composure in the final third. He's done really well for Manchester United this season, so it may well be a good idea for him to break from midfield. He's probably the most likely to score when he comes on. The other player actually is worth interestingly looking at is Bruno Fernandes, who's done very, very little today. But you know that if he gets a chance, he won't lash it to Willie. Bruno Fernandes will be comfortable in front of the goal.
Cullen, incidentally, has been shown a yellow card by referee John Brooks. Wimbledon have got a third goal. Wimbledon 3, Walsall 1. You can forget Walsall now in the playoff picture as far as League 2 is concerned. 0-0 here, 63.5 minutes played in the Championship as the results stand. Huddersfield Town, drawing at home to Birmingham, will be relegated. They'll be joining Rotherham in League 1 next season. As Burnley, 0-0 here, have been awarded a corner kick, far side, the left, playing from left to right.
It's taking a time here, aren't they? Because just about every player is in this 18-yard line.
And it comes from that left-hand side, headed out by Hoyland, only as far as Assignon, plays the ball in, headed out by Fernandez. Coutinho is there, loose ball, knocked forward, onside as Garnacho heads it on. He made the run from inside his own half. It's Garnacho against Odobert, but Odobert does well, tracks him stride for stride and nudges the ball behind and out with his left foot for a corner kick. 64 minutes played, Pat Nevin.
Once again, what you do, if you've got a yard in front, you cut across the defender. He didn't cut across the defender there. Oh, well, say defender, it's Odobert coming back. He's an attack-minded player, but he's got himself back into that area and made a very good challenge. And yeah, Manchester United are going to make changes now. Not absolutely delighting all of the fans.
Doncaster Rovers incidentally are down to 10 men as they are still leading at Priestfield by 2-1. But as Hoyland makes way and Amad Diallo comes on, the Old Trafford faithful not happy with that substitution being made by Erik ten Hag. There was audible boos there.
Yeah, you could tell they weren't going for that at all. They're applauding just now, but that's because Menu, they love him, and whatever he does, they love him. This moment in time, in times like these, when you make decisions like these, you're desperate for them to work if you are Ten Hag.
Corner played out, it's Eriksson, right corner of the penalty area. Diallo picks it up, first shot, left-footed charge down, flicked on by Casemiro, far post Maguire, brings it under control very, very well, lifts it goalwards, headed away by Esteve at the back for Burnley. The pressure remains for Manchester United, still it remains 0-0 here, 66 minutes played. Casemiro, less than 30 yards out from goal, has a shot, charge down, rebounds, Diallo lays it out to Fernandez, carves it first time, and the ball then is headed on and picked up by Muric, and will go to MK Dons in League 2. Sheridan Robbins.
MK Dons 3, Sutton 1. Emre Tezgel firing home a lovely finish into the bottom corner. Calls for handball in the build-up. It didn't matter. He scored. Sutton National League bound. MK Dons 3, Sutton 1.
Shot on the run by Brune Larsen is off target for Burnley, as there's been another goal at Gillingham. Joshua Adudonka.
2, Doncaster 2. Gillingham have turned this game on its head. A goal bundled in by a defender from a corner on the far side. It's Gillingham 2, Doncaster 2.
And back to Sheridan for another goal at MK Dons.
MK Dons 3, Sutton 2. Harry Smith firing an absolute rocket into the top corner. It's not going to be enough for Sutton, but that is one for the highlights reel. MK Dons 3, Sutton 2.
Watford 1, Sunderland 0. So Sheffield United are heading out of the Premier League. And in fact, there's been another goal there. Chris Coles.
They're heading out to the Premier League in ignominious style. It's now 4-1 to Newcastle. This is an awful goal to concede. Goalmouth scramble. Ben Osborne puts it past his own goalkeeper. Newcastle 4, Sheffield United 1.
That will be 96 goals that they have conceded this season. Newcastle 4, Sheffield United 1. Ball played forward. Amdouni gets in front of Casemiro, and then Casemiro recovers with a right-footed touch to get it away from the Burnley player and back to his goalkeeper Onana.
Yeah, but it was last ditch, wasn't it? Again, he's done for pace there. Everybody knows what the weakness is. He is a lovely player, Casemiro, but he is a long way from being quick, and at this league and at this level you need to have pace. All he do is put it in behind him, and he's chasing. In that case, time he got back, but he was lucky.
Diallo picks it forward, runs at the Burnley defence, tries to cross field ball towards Garnacho, stops. Eriksson back in field towards McTominay. Wimbledon 4, Walsall 1 is the latest score in League 2. Here is Wan-Bissaka, edge of the area, right hand side, plays it towards Fernandez. Fernandez with a cross, cut out of the near post by Esteve for a corner kick. 0-0 it remains. 68 minutes played.
What you'd expect now is, 68 minutes, last 20 minutes or so, that old-fashioned Manchester United go and pile on the pressure, get the chances, and eventually the team that are playing against wilts under that pressure. It doesn't always happen these days, but they need to make it happen now.
Approaching 4:30 this Saturday afternoon, 0-0 at Old Trafford. Corner kick for Manchester United. Comes out towards Diallo, tees up Garnacho! Great save by Muric. Hit it first time, on the rise, right-footed, just inside the penalty area. Two-handed save behind for a corner kick.
Much better Garnacho there. That was an easy one. He actually caught that one on the volley, kept it down enough, probably too close to the keeper. However, the defending by Burnley wasn't great. 3 players go for the same ball. All of them missed it.
In front of the tunnel area, a corner kick for Manchester United. Eriksson to take it. Manchester United red shirts, white shorts, playing from right to left. In it goes towards the near post. Little flick on, partially cleared. Helped further away by Odegaard. And is there a break on for Burnley with Amdouni as he tries to wriggle free? Amdouni has done well, keeps his strength, has some support with Foster. Berger tries to keep it alive for Burnley. Amdouni challenge comes in from Diallo. Goal at Valley Parade, Nick Hatton.
Bradford City 3, Newport County 1. It's Harry Charsley who has it for the visitors. Scramble in the box, Charsley firing home from 3 yards out. Bradford 3, Newport 1.
73,501 is the attendance inside Old Trafford this afternoon, and it remains 0-0. Sheffield Wednesday were leading West Brom 2-0 earlier. Another goal, Adam Pope.
Sheffield Wednesday 3, West Bromwich Albion 0, and Josh Windus converted in close range after Barry Bannon was invited to shoot by a raucous Hillsborough. The shot was parried, and there was Windus to seal the victory, which is going to go a long way to securing Sheffield Wednesday in the Championship. It's Sheffield Wednesday 3, West Brom 0.
West Bromwich Albion, remember, are only 3 points ahead of 7th placed Hull City. Huddersfield Town still drawing at home. 1-1 with Birmingham, would be relegated because Plymouth are drawing at Millwall 0-0. We've got about 20 minutes remaining, and Burnley with Berger in the centre circle. This game still could be anybody's, Pat.
It could be. It's just, again, time and again, even Bruno Fernandes had a great chance to put a good ball in there, and he made a bit of a mess of it. Somebody is going to calm down in the final third, and that person who does that will probably win the game.
Ball over the top towards Assignon, can't keep the ball in play, and it will go out for a goal kick to Manchester United. Another goal at Stadium MK, Sheridan Robbins.
Well, so we thought. It was MK Dons 4, Sutton 2, but it's just been ruled out for offside, so it remains MK Dons 3, Sutton 2.
Goodmanson, meanwhile, has come on for Brun Larsen for Burnley. Made a good impact off the bench last week with a goal against Sheffield United, which was his first goal in a year since he'd last scored against Sheffield United. So he's going to be coming on, Goodmanson. That's the change that is about to happen here with 19 minutes remaining. And I would imagine, Pat, if you're Vincent Kompany, you're thinking these 3 points are still there.
They're still there, but do you take the one? The one keeps you in it. You know, the one keeps you going, thinking about the scores elsewhere. You know, the possibility that at the end of the season, that final game, if you've got it in your own hands, you'd probably take it themselves.
Remember, they play on the final day at home to Nottingham Forest. Garnacho at pace, running at O'Shea, and it goes last touch off Garnacho, and it will be awarded a goal kick by referee John Brooks.
Yep, he doesn't agree with Garnacho. Well, I think we can tell that. Referee turns away from him, allows this change to be made. But look at Manchester United. You would expect Manchester United really to be doing a lot more by now. The fans have got that understandable buzz, as if to say, right, OK, we're ready now, let's change it, let's up the pace, let's get the quality in the final third going again. And it hasn't quite happened yet. Still, there is time left.
Goodmanson is on, Brun Larsen is off. Team news from Goodison Park, John Murray.
No Dominic Calvert-Lewin for Everton. He was touch and go for Wednesday, so that means a first Premier League start for 19-year-old Chermiti. Their other change has Young in for the injured Mikolenko, and Ivan Toney is back for Brentford in the team. Captain Norgard as well, with Lewis Potter and Damsgaard on the bench.
Here is Anthony in the penalty area. Anthony tries to play the ball to McTominay. McTominay with a cutback. Block goes out of play. No, it doesn't go out of play. Not just yet anyway. It'll be kept in play. No, it'll be a throw instead. It won't be a corner kick to Manchester United. It's a throw right down by the corner flag. Michael Brown on commentary duties with John Murray after Sports Report at 5:30. As the ball in towards Wan-Bissaka, he hooks it high. It's dropping, and Muric runs into the far post as it goes out of play for a goal kick. Team news from the Women's Champions League semi-final second leg. Vicky Sparks.
Katarina Macario starts up front ahead of Mayra Ramirez for Chelsea, who doesn't make the squad. That's their one change from the side that beat Barcelona 1-0 in Spain. Avoid defeat against the reigning European champions at a sold-out Stamford Bridge, and Chelsea will make the final.
You'll hear the second half of that on Sports Extra, because around 4:45 on Sports Extra and also on BBC One is the Women's Six Nations, France versus England, and then once that's finished around 6:30 we'll get the second half of that Chelsea-Barcelona Women's Champions League semi-final second leg. Goalless at Old Trafford. Anthony rolls the ball forward. Stepping out of defence was O'Shea, and O'Shea keeps on going, and it opens up now for Burnley with 16 and a half minutes remaining, and then the ball forward and Foster was in an offside position, and it was played behind him as Manchester United with Onana come forward. Game's just starting to open up. Goal now at St James's Park. Chris Coles.
Goal number 5 for Newcastle, and a very popular goal scorer, the returning Callum Wilson, his first Premier League goal since October, firing into the top corner, and it's Newcastle 5, Sheffield United 1.
Goals flying in on 5 Live. MK Dons, Sheridan Robbins.
It is now MK Dons 4, Sutton 2. Substitute Ellis Harrison looped it round. A helpless Steve Arnold in goal. Sutton, as it stands, going down to the National League. MK Dons 4, Sutton 2.
Forest Green 1, Notts County 0, Wimbledon 5, Walsall 1. Here is Berger. Assignon joins the attack, edge of the area. Assignon with a shot, charged down by Casemiro, picked up by Goodmanson on the right hand side for Burnley, still 0-0. Sends over a cross, Maguire stabs it away, only as far as Cullen. Tees up Berger, edge of the area. Berger enters the box, plays it to Assignon, promising for Burnley. Sliding challenge by Maguire, loops up in the air, still not out of play. Assignon in the penalty area, does well to turn out of trouble, sends over the cross. McTominay heads it away, edge of the box. Berger there for Burnley, still pressing. 15 minutes remain. Can they get the 3 points? As the ball comes in from that far side from Vitinho. Assignon heads it powerfully back into the box. Header out by Dallo. Cullen tries to get there. Break on for Manchester United. Picked up by Garnacho. Midway through his own half. Over the halfway line. O'Shea is with him. Garnacho enters the penalty area now. O'Shea stands him up. Makes the challenge. Garnacho goes down. Referee John Brooks has a look at that. No penalty. Goal kick 0-0.
It's one of those ones, I think earlier in the season the referee tempted to point the spot there. There is contact. Got close to him, but we know that there's a little bit of previous there and a little bit of history. Garnacho's gone down, he's rolling around as if he's really badly injured. I don't think he is. But is there contact? My first thought was yes. He's thrown himself so much. There's a tiny little bit of contact near his left knee, but that doesn't make your left leg go flying out to the side. That's why he's not got a chance of a penalty there. That's why I don't think the VAR is going to change his mind on it either.
Has to be sufficient impact, doesn't it?
And it didn't look like it there.
14 minutes remaining, still 0-0.
To be honest, you asked me a question a few minutes ago, with the 3 points, would they want it, would they go for it? And I thought, no, you maybe take the point. And then immediately after that, Burnley go and start attacking. They look the better team. They look as if, that's what we want, that's what we're going to go to. So well done Vincent Kompany, and well done Mr. Dennis, annoyingly.
I've been here a number of times in recent years with Burnley in this fixture, and I remember they were 2-0 up in 2017, they were 2-0 up in 2019. They didn't take those opportunities. Manchester United scored very, very late, but here for Burnley, although it's still 0-0, Burnley, if they could just show some composure, they can still grab the maximum points. A point would still be maybe a decent one to keep their hopes alive, as Garnacho tries to get away from Goodmanson. Dallo, too hasty.
Yeah, and that's just constant, absolutely constant. So I'm not going to mention it again because it's so obvious what's happening in that final third. However, it does underline the desperation you've got for some Manchester United players. That's 2 players that have been in good positions, Casemiro and Garnacho as well, and instead of going for goal, they've thrown themselves to ground. That's not what you should be doing in that situation.
The voice of the former Scottish international Pat Nevin with us here on BBC Radio 5 Live. Now, the issues that could have been resolved today: Livingston are leading Ross County 2-0 in the Scottish Premiership. That will be a stay of execution. In League 2, Sutton United are going to be relegated. The playoff positions will be filled by MK Dons, Doncaster, Crawley and Crewe as it stands. In the Premier League, Sheffield United are going down. They're losing 5-1 at St James's Park. And in the Championship, Huddersfield are going to be relegated with the results as they are. Shojo Saka.
Yeah, Huddersfield 1, Birmingham 1. Huddersfield have had quite a lot of the play since they equalised, but they've not capitalised with a second goal. Birmingham striker Jay Stansfield very close at the other end. As you say, a draw will not be good enough for Huddersfield at the moment. Huddersfield 1, Birmingham 1.
Swindon 3, Morecambe 2 is the latest score in League 2. You're up to date, 12 minutes remaining. Remember, in the Premier League, Fulham 1, Crystal Palace 0, Newcastle 5, Sheffield United 1, Wolves lead Luton Town by 2-0. Earlier it finished West Ham United 2, Liverpool 2. As Cullen with a back pass to Muric. doesn't get much elevation, but he has picked up Odebear as it skimmed across the playing surface. Now passes the ball out towards Foster on that far side, the left. Yellow shirts, black shorts. Vitinho from left back joins the attack. Casemiro will let it roll out of play for a goal kick.
Clever by Casemiro there, because he knows that we know he's not going to pace to chase anyone, so he uses intelligence, sits off a little bit and just shepherds out there, and really clever by them. But if I had to say which team were the sharpest at the end of the game and the fittest at the end of the game, I would say it was the team in yellow.
Manchester United, who have scored in each of their last 15 Premier League games, so you have to go back before Christmas, the last time they failed, and Anthony ceases on a pass there, and Anthony bursts into the penalty area, and Anthony left-footed guides the ball into the bottom right-hand corner. He was so alert, and he scored his first Premier League goal in 12 months, and Manchester United take the lead. The alert Anthony with the all-important goal. Manchester United 1, Burnley 0.
First of all, well done, Anthony. In times gone past, I think he would throw himself to the ground there because there was a little bit of a nudge. But it all came for an awful mistake by Sander Berge. He's got the ball and totally no danger at all. Centre-back sort of position there. And they're under no pressure at all. And he just passes it short. And he goes one-on-one with the goalkeeper there. A little bit of a nudge, but says to himself, we're not getting penalties today. I better finish. And wow, that's a good finish. Finally, somebody calm in front of goal.
And another mistake by Burnley is punished for Anthony, who before today had scored 1 goal in his last 47 Premier League appearances. There's been another goal in the top flight. It's at Molineux. Pat Murphy.
Luton have got one back from Morris. This when a speculative cross stayed in play and Wolves' defence fell asleep. Doughty crossed it, Burke headed on, acrobatic finish from Morris. Wolves 2, Luton 1.
A 7th goal of the afternoon for Sheridan Robbins.
It's gone to Sutton. MK Dons 4, Sutton United 3. Stephen Duke McKenna with his 2nd of the game. The Sutton fans at least seeing a lot of fight from their team. As it stands, they're still going down, but it's MK Dons 4, Sutton 3.
Amrabat has replaced Eriksson as a substitution for Manchester United. Burnley then trail. Ball played forward by Assignon to Goodmanson on this near side, the right. There's a slip by Amrabat. It's rolled into the penalty area. Amdouni couldn't get there. The clearance though strikes the back of Cullen, and the flag coming back from an offside position was Goodmanson, and that will be an offside against the Burnley player. 9 minutes remaining, and Manchester United, well, they've had a number of chances second half. Burnley have created little after the break.
There's been a couple here. They've had more of the chances. There have been 34 attempts at goal today.
Is that right?
34. And yeah, I still was thoughtful that it might still be 0-0 because of the paucity of the finishing. But on this occasion, finally Manchester United have had the lion's share. I think they've had 20 attacks at goal. They've got the goal. This should calm them down. If they could put this out of Burnley's reach now and they could relax to the end of the game, I'll tell you what, the happiest person in here would be Ten Hag.
Here is Fernandez, shoots just outside the area, gathered in by Muric, and you were right, as you so often are, it didn't finish goalless.
No, I didn't think it would do, but I couldn't see that there was enough quality there to finish. And even the good quality finishers, like Bruno Fernandes, just wasn't on it today. But it's not finished yet. There may be chances. Now, I certainly think there will be chances, but will one of them fall for Burnley?
Manchester United, it'll be a case of as you were then for the a place in the Europa League for Manchester United and Newcastle to that 6th spot. St Johnstone 0, Hibs 3. Now Millwall have scored against Plymouth. Millwall 1, Plymouth 0, and that might just be a stay of execution for Huddersfield Town, because Huddersfield were drawing 1-1 against Birmingham. They could have got relegated with a draw, but Plymouth had to avoid defeats against Millwall and Sheffield Wednesday winning. Well, Sheffield Wednesday are doing that. They're leading West Brom by 3-0, but that goal for Millwall will mean that Huddersfield Town will not be relegated today. Millwall 1-0 up against Plymouth. Plymouth, who are still in the thick of it for a very, very congested bottom of the Championship. 7 minutes remain. Mark Chapman will tidy it all up on what has been a dramatic day. We brought it all earlier for the final day in League One with Derby County getting promoted. 2-0 they beat Carlisle, of course, already relegated. But for Burnley here, they've got to try and can they salvage something with 7 minutes remaining? as Manchester United lead 1-0.
It's hard to imagine it's going to be any different for Manchester United between now and the end of the season, because they don't look particularly special. But I'm looking at Burnley, what more can they do? They're already very attack-minded. You can't get much more attack-minded than 4-2-4. But it may well be that Vincent Kompany has to try that in the last few minutes.
The trouble is, though, you look at the goal difference, and realistically they are down, because Huddersfield's goal difference is minus 27, and while they can catch Plymouth in terms of points, Plymouth's goal difference is minus 12, so that goal swing is not going to happen. So mathematically it won't be confirmed, but realistically Huddersfield still drawing 1-1 with Birmingham would still be relegated 1-1 against Birmingham. News of that goal at Millwall from Ryan Bromelo.
Millwall 1, Plymouth 0, and finally Millwall puncture the Plymouth resolve. Jake Cooper at the far stick, rising high on the right of the penalty area, and his header loops over Cooper. As things stand, Plymouth are lurking uncomfortably close to the bottom three. It's Millwall 1, Plymouth 0.
Burnley are attacking. Berger less than 30 yards out from goal, plays the ball short and square. Goodmanson curls it in. Wan-Bissaka with a trailing leg hooks it up in the air. Casemiro's headed back. Onana's come there and he's caught Amdouni, volleyed back in, and then a deflected leg by Dallow takes it behind from Goodmanson's effort, behind for a corner kick. These are the latest scores in the Scottish Premiership. Aberdeen 1, Motherwell 0, Kilmarnock 0, Hearts 0, Livingston 2, Ross County 0, so they won't be relegated today. St Johnstone 0, Hibs 3. Pat.
Just a moment there. Casemiro's got a header inside his own box. There are about 10 players around him. It's high in the air. What's the last thing you do? Try and head it back to your keeper. That's what he tries to do. He nearly blew it for his team there after all their hard work. Corner kick, however, he got away with it. It could have been much worse.
The way he caught the Burnley player, that was very similar to what happened against Wolves here at the start of the season.
This could be a penalty kick. Yeah, absolutely.
And now the VAR has actually instructed John Brooks to come across. So Peter Banks at Stockley Park has told John Brooks to come and have a look at this. Now, I think I'm right in saying, after one of the many briefings that we had from the referees this season, that penalty should have been awarded against Wolves.
Of course it would, 100%.
On that basis, this one should.
Yeah, but did he get any contact in the ball? That's what he has to see now. There was no contact in the ball, that original one earlier in the season. But in this occasion, no, there's nothing. Absolutely nothing. We have drama here. I can't imagine. Well, I can imagine weird things with VAR. But it's very difficult to see no penalty given.
The penalty's awarded. The penalty is awarded for Burnley with 4 minutes remaining. Onana jumping into and clattering Amdouni. And Burnley have an opportunity to claim a point. Accrington 4, Tranmere 1 is the latest score in League 2.
Do you know what? I say to you, everyone will look at Onana now. You've got to look at Casemiro. What are you doing that header for in the first place?
Yes.
The last thing you do in that situation is head it up in there when you're surrounded by so many players. You can't get any power. You get rid of it, you get it out for a corner, a throw in, anything. It doesn't matter. Get away from goal. He is the one in the end that's caused the problem that's led to the penalty kick, along with Onana.
What an opportunity this is for Burnley, and it's Amdouni who is going to take it. Onana, who made 3 excellent saves in the first half, will try to redeem himself. Late drama at Old Trafford. BBC Radio 5 Live, BBC Sounds and the World Service. Manchester United 1, Burnley 0. But Burnley, away towards our right, have a penalty. Amdouni, who scored all 5 penalties in his club career, has an opportunity to salvage a point for Burnley. Amdouni scores, sends the keeper the wrong way, rolls it right-footed, and Burnley could be claiming a precious point. Amdouni makes it 6 out of 6 from the spot in his career, and that could be oh so precious for Burnley. 1-1.
Yeah, and both goals have come from really silly errors from players in the opposition, but there's a huge amount of pressure on Amdouni there. You're talking the 87th minute. They need this point. They're desperate at this point to make sure they can keep in touch and stay in the Premier League. I really thought this is so much pressure that he may well miss it. He was officially the calmest player in this place, and not only that, the calmest person in the entire stadium.
I think it's fair to say the Burnley supporters are far from calm. They've gone ballistic in that away end, away towards our right-hand side. And talking of celebrating away fans, John Southall.
Fulham 1, Crystal Palace 1. Jeffrey Schutt with a 20-yarder, absolutely thumped it into the top left-hand corner. Elise hits one over the bar. Fulham 1, Palace 1.
Manchester United, meanwhile, at the other end, Casemiro tried to play the ball in. And as a second opportunity, his cross drifts out of play. They almost had a sniff at the other end with 2 minutes remaining, but O'Shea was there for Burnley.
I'll tell you what, if you're looking at Burnley's best player today, you could do a lot worse than look at O'Shea. Quietly at the back, he's made some brilliant tackles there. Lovely little ball played through there. I was wondering if it was offside. It may well have been, but only by millimetres, but we know that's the important thing. O'Shea looks second best there. McTominay looks like a tap in. O'Shea came from absolutely nowhere and blocked him. They're fighting. Burnley are fighting.
Still got the latest scores to give you in League Two and the Championship as we have 90 seconds remaining of normal time here at Old Trafford. Now Manchester United 1, Burnley 1. Garnacho carries it forward, leaves it then for Diallo. Swindon 3, Morecambe 3 is the latest score. Here are the latest scores then in that division. Wimbledon 5, Walsall 1, Accrington 4, Tranmere 1, Barrow 1, Mansfield 1. Not enough for Barrow. They are dropping out of the playoffs. Bradford City 3, Newport 1, Colchester 1, Crewe 0, Crawley 2, Grimsby 0. Crawley moving in to the playoff positions. Forest Green 1, Notts County 0, Gillingham 2, Doncaster Rovers 2, MK Dons 4, Sutton 3. Sutton will be relegated. Manchester United are attacking, edge of the area. Here is McTominay with a shot, teed himself up, blocked, comes out towards Amrabat, just outside the D. Fernandez able to turn, tries to dink it in the path of Anthony. Loose ball will be picked up now by Anthony, right hand side, enters the penalty area. Anthony's left footed shot, chance down, they appeal for a penalty. McTominay slips and the ball goes behind and it will be a goal kick. Swindon 3, Morecambe 3, Wrexham 2, Stockport 1 and don't think I did. Salford 2, Harrogate 2. That was League 2 scores.
And of course they will look at that for the possibility of a penalty kick here for Manchester United. It's not the first time in the game the Manchester United player has gone down in the box looking for a penalty kick. At the moment McTominay's gone down, he's rolled off the park. There was a shout for a handball. I don't think that will be given there. That would be very harsh. He was trying to get his hand out of the way. But was McTominay fouled? That's the one I'm looking at. Do you know what? I'm looking at the handball there. It's kicked at his hand from half a yard. I don't think that should be given.
The VAR has dismissed it for the Coutinho handball and play is back underway at 1-1.
6 minutes to go.
McTominay meanwhile is off the field of play getting treatment. Latest scores in the Championship. Blackburn Rovers 0, Coventry 0. John Eustace, the manager for Blackburn, sent off. Liam Kitching dismissed for Coventry. Bristol City lead relegated Rotherham 2-0. Cardiff 0, Middlesbrough 4. Huddersfield 1, Birmingham 1. Huddersfield though won't be relegated because Millwall are leading Plymouth by a goal to 0. But mathematically they are down because the goal difference is just so vast. Norwich 2, Swansea 2. Sheffield Wednesday 3, West Bromwich Albion 0. West Brom just stuttering. Southampton 0, Stoke City 1. Stoke will be safe. Watford leads Sunderland by a goal to 0. We're in stoppage time. 6 minutes of added on time. And there, Anthony was completely taken out of the game. That will be a free kick. And Esteve is shown a yellow card.
It's one of those ones where it is correctly a yellow. But see, if he pulled out a red, I wouldn't complain about it at all. He has wiped him out there. He was going through. There was no attempt to get the ball. Not only a block, it's the kind of high block with, Steph knows what he's doing there. That's one of those ones that they want to change the rules about. He stopped him. Good decision if you're a Burnley fan, because you'll do anything to hold on to this point.
Mason Mount coming on because the substitute Scott McTominay is unable to continue after the treatment. They're not going to take the risk, so Mason Mount coming on for McTominay in added on time. It remains 1-1. Fulham 1, Palace 1, Newcastle 5, Sheffield Wednesday 1. Sheffield United will be relegated. Wolves lead Luton 2-1. In comes the free kick. The header on the run from Casemiro was straight at Muric. He bowls the ball out to Assignon. The counter-attack is on for Burnley. Assignon has got pace. He's over the halfway line. Mason Mount comes back with him. Plays the ball inside towards Cullen. Cullen now looking towards Assignon. The attack peters out. We'll get a rugby update. Alfie Reynolds.
Well, we've got 4 minutes to play. Harlequins 38, Northampton 27. Will Porter has just scored his second try since coming on, likely the one that might mean Harlequins win this game. It's been a brilliant game at Twickenham. Harlequins 38, Northampton 27.
This is Diallo with a shot. It was moving in the air. It's easily saved by Muric. 1-1 it remains, and we have 3.5 minutes of stoppage time remaining. Pat Nevin.
It's been a great end to this game, hasn't it? Since that equaliser for Burnley, both teams have just went for it. It's been so wide open, but then again, most of the entire game's been wide open there. Great chance for Manchester United, and then straight away from that Burnley break up and almost had a 3-on-2. We couldn't make the best of it. Is there a chance left for somebody to win this? I wouldn't be surprised.
Well, Odebear all of a sudden is released on that left-hand side, and Odebear has got round the back on the left. He tries to cut the ball back. Casemiro got a leg in the way, comes out towards Foster. Foster shuffles the ball inside towards Berger outside the D. Assignon now right corner of the area. Goodmanson is in support. Goodmanson passes the ball towards Berger. Takes it, Burnley keep the ball. Goodmanson now running in off the right touchline, 30 yards out from goal, floats the ball to the left-hand side. Odebear brings it under control, enters the penalty area on the left, tries to pass the ball, and then it was cleared by Mason Mount. He releases Fernandes. All of a sudden it's United on the counter-attack. Fernandes can't get the ball towards Diallo, cut out by O'Shea.
So unlike Bruno Fernandes, if you want any player in red to be on the ball, to slip that ball through, there's plenty of space to put it into. He doesn't manage to find it, and now Burnley are on the break.
Jumpers for goalposts here at the end.
It is.
Here is Cullen. 1-1 it remains. 4 minutes played of the minimum 6. Fulham 1, Palace 1. Newcastle 5-1 up. Wolves lead Luton by 2-1. Sheffield United will be relegated. Cardiff 1, Middlesbrough 4 is the latest score in the Championship. O'Shea goes back. Burnley's remaining games: at home to Newcastle, Tottenham away, and then at home to Nottingham Forest. Forest have Manchester City at home tomorrow. Commentary on 5 Live. Sheffield United away, Chelsea at home, and then that trip to Turf Moor. Casemiro's forward ball. Fernandes couldn't take it in his stride, and it runs through to the feet of Muric. 1-1.
Another great opportunity. Casemiro, lovely pass through, but in those situations, once again, just zip it in his feet. He can deal with it.
Burnley now are attacking. Odebear, what a finish to this game. Odebear on the left-hand side, and Onana makes a save with an outstretched right leg at his near post. Burnley had a chance to win it right at the end. 60 seconds remain. Still Burnley are attacking. Coutinho comes forward. Behind, it's a goal kick. Elsewhere, Colchester 1, Crewe 1. St Johnstone 1, Hibs 3 is the latest score, and another goal at MK Dons. Sheridan Robbins.
MK Dons 4, Sutton 4. It's not going to mean anything in terms of relegation, but it does lift them off the bottom of the table. Harry Smith with his second. MK Dons 4, Sutton 4.
And here we've got a free kick to Burnley.
Do you know what I asked? We have about 3 minutes to go. Would there be a chance before now and the end of the game? It's been about 3 time. You wouldn't be surprised if there was another one here. They're going to launch it long into the box, Burnley.
I realise they just laughed like Shaggy from Scooby-Doo there. Bradford City 4, Newport 1. It's irrelevant because Crawley lead Grimsby Town by 2-0. Muric with the free kick on the halfway line. Goes long, headed away by Maguire on this near side. 15 seconds remaining of added on time. 1-1 here at Old Trafford for a Burnley side who are looking to try and extend their good run of form. It would be 11 points out of a possible 24, but they've given the ball away cheaply. Mason Mount towards Diallo. Diallo, the 6 minutes are up. Diallo now to the edge of the area. Amad Diallo with a shot, strikes his own player, comes back out. Anthony places the effort left-footed, saved by Muric. It remains 1-1.
What a brilliant injury time we've had here. Actually 2 or 3 minutes before that as well. It's been end to end, and it has ended.
And Manchester United have dropped points at home as Newcastle close the gap. But at the bottom of the table, it's Burnley who pick up a precious point. What a thrilling end. 1-1, Pat Nevin.
Yeah, look, it was an entertaining game. There was massive lack of quality in the final third, time and time again from both sides. Do you know what? That was the right result here. Manchester United may have had slightly more chances, but Burnley had plenty of possession, were very, very brave, and for all the mistakes and all the negativity and the fact that neither team are at their very, very best, you come and watch this every week.
Anthony with a goal for Manchester United after 80 minutes, and then Amdouni with a penalty 8 minutes later. It's finished at Old Trafford. Manchester United 1, Burnley 1.